Last time on The Ties That Bind, Osmo, Denier, and Wolfgang, along with their traveling companions, found themselves in the Northern Country, a land of perpetual autumn and decay. The party split ways with their traveling companions from the Wandering Weasel when they reached the town of Birch-wood Creek, a town vexed with the mysterious problem of disappearing cows. Taking on this investigation led our trio to cross paths with two faces from Wolfgang's past, his elder cousins, Magnus and Miguel, two monster hunters who are traveling these lands as they had with their father. Leaving the town's troubles in the hands of our heroes, Magnus and Miguel ventured north in search of their own quarry in the city of Coldreach. The investigation led them to the crypt in the town's graveyard, where, much to their surprise, they found a platoon of skeletons milking the cows in some bizarre ceremony overseen by a courteous but stoic drow, who had in his possession another shard of the mysterious gem. An inevitable battle broke out, leaving our heroes victorious, but barely clinging to life. Through the stifled sound of mooing from the now liberated cows, an aggravated voice permeated the air. Who was this mysterious man? And what connection does he have to the bleeding god? All our heroes can do now is push forward with their mission.
So where are we right now, Nick?
You guys are still in recovery mode from your battle with the Bone Lord. Your conversation with the the mysterious voice at the other end of the Scrying Orb has just finished.
Wolfgang is pulling bits of bone shrapnel out of his arm and his chest and stuff. He's like, "God, bloody hell!"
Yeah, you guys have a nice, nifty new set of scars, except for you, Osmo, who's made it out relatively undamaged.
Key to not getting hit is to move faster than them. You gotta dance a little, you know?
Yeah, Asmo tries to do a dance, it just kind of falls down again.
God, let's go check out why the cows are missing. What's the worst that could happen? Seriously, Wolfgang! This is what your family does on a regular basis?
Yes, that is exactly what we do.
Then why don't you do it more faster, God? I'm here for the job, not this weird jackass bullshit. Why were they milking the cows? Was it for the nutrients? Like, what was it?
I assume the calcium in the milk was some sort of catalyst for the spell or something.
What is calcium? I don't even know what that is.
Oh my goodness gracious sakes alive.
Yeah, Denier, you're still recovering from your psychic episode. You have a nice new gash on the side of your head just under your ear from the bone spears firing through the air.
Thank you for reminding me for that. Yeah, Denier is just laying on the ground, and he's not saying anything right now. One hand is on his head, and he's just laying there.
All right. I guess the cows were being scared away last time, weren't they?
Yeah, they've been like you've untied them, but they're still kind of tentative to walk across the skeletons. Some of them have just kind of been wandering wherever they can. They're afraid to approach the corpses of other cows too, it seems.
All right, come on, Bessie, just get out of here. Well, we found what we came for. Let's go tell the villagers the good bad news.
All right, fine. Asmo kicks Denier. We're not done talking about this. Asmo kicks Denier's foot.
Wakey, eggs, and get the hell up.
Yeah. Lani, that gigantic javelin spear that got put through me, is it still on the ground around where I was when I got hit?
There are shards and fragments of bones everywhere.
Okay. I at least wanted to make sure that we had that as kind of a proof of exactly what we did. And
yeah, you can find a very large chunk of bone spike. Looks like it kind of got fractured in half, but it looks like a spear made out of bone.
What about the thing's skull? I know that it was partially fractured, but what about that?
The skull is mostly shattered. Like, kind of half the skull kind of had its bits ripped away. You got kind of like 3/4 of a skull, basically, but it's big. It's probably the size of your torso.
Yeah, too big to carry. I gotcha.
I mean, you can carry it. It's just going to take effort to get it out of here.
We got to focus on the cows, though. Denir's going to slowly stand up. And he's going to look over at the Scrying Orb. We going to leave that here? Or are we going to take it and try to use it to see who's been watching us?
I don't even... Someone was watching us? What?
Asmo had no recollection of that happening. He was too busy. He was like passed out on the goddamn ground. Oh, right. Asmo's like really... Asmo looks really frantic right now. Asmo looks like he's still like antsy. He's kind of shaking a little bit. So he hasn't actually sheathed the blades either.
Still holding his swords in his hands?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Might as well. My fear is that it'll reactivate while it's in our possession, and then
we could put it inside of the lead powder. Lead has a way of negating divination magic.
Yeah, that is true, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, but do you have like a fucking blanket? Just put a blanket around it. They can't see through a blanket.
Actually, I do.
I would hope so. Otherwise, you're going to sleep at night. Very cold.
Well, I've got a blanket and a bedroll.
Oh, well, that's good.
I just imagine. Asmo just imagined he would just curl up like a cat near a sunbeam.
So you want to take the Scrying Orb with you?
Yeah, Asmo, try to pop that thing out of the wall.
Excuse me?
I said try to pop that thing out of the wall.
Are you not able?
Asmo just kind of looks at it and looks back at Wolfgang walking around.
Are you not able of grabbing something?
Wolfgang pulls open his coat to reveal him soaked in blood.
You could say yes.
Asmo pulls out just grabs the Scrying Orb.
Athletics check. It's kind of embedded in the wall.
All right, come on.
It seems to be in kind of a sconce.
That's a 10.
You kind of wriggle it. Seems like it's getting loose, but you might just need to get something under it to pry it out.
I pull out just my simple dagger and I put it underneath it.
All right, athletics with advantage.
All right. 9.
Son of a bitch.
Yeah, you're finding you're finding it hard just to slip the dagger into the crack. Unfortunately, it's like, motherfucker.
All right, so Asmo takes out one of his short swords, sticks his short sword underneath it, is gonna jump in the air and stomp down on his short sword.
All right, you're using leverage still, so athletics with advantage again.
My end horrible.
Bang! 15.
Punk. And it pops free.
Asmo, I pick it up.
All right, you now have a Scrying Orb.
Scrying Orb. I'm writing it down. Scrying.
Worst case scenario, even if we can't use it, we could probably sell it in the next town over.
Why don't you just slap it on the top of that magic staff you got? He says didn't they say you could put anything on top of the staff and it could do random shit?
Yeah, but at the very least, I don't want it to be apparent, so he can see where we're going if he does decide to peer in on it.
You could prank him and shove it in the ground.
We could.
That's true.
I think the only use we get out of that is it being mildly amusing.
Denir walks over and he pulls out the blanket at the very least, unless you guys want to just stick in the bag of lead powder. But it.
Put it in the blanket.
Yeah, he wraps it up in the blanket, and either Asmo can take the blanket, or.
No, I guess I'm carrying it.
It's up to you, man. I didn't want to take it from you if you don't want to give it up.
I want to do this job. I was just humoring you guys, but what the fuck was that? Like, what the fuck was that?
And Asmo's like walking out, gesturing at the fucking bone pile, and sees Wolfgang standing over it.
Yeah, I'm gonna see if I can collect some stuff from this thing.
Right, go ahead and roll me a survival check on the Bone Lord.
Yeah, mostly for just. That's a 6.
It's a strong 6.
You get about half a pound of bone chips, but you feel like trying to carve into this thing is difficult. Those bones are really dense.
What flavor are the chips?
Bone flavored, marrow flavored.
Good.
probably make a good
Asmo is going to try and release the cows now.
Yeah, they've all been untied. They're just kind of freaked out, and some of them are really antsy, but they're tentative to move towards any cow corpses and stuff.
Animal handling. I'm going to try and
Sure,
animal
go for
handle these. 13.
One of them, let me roll for a couple of the cows here. Let me roll for cow.
Roll for cow.
Moo.
I am a cow, hear me moo. I weigh twice as much as you, and I look good on the barbecue.
They're like, the two of them are actually kind of just looking at you, like, your eyes seem to be entrancing to them. And they seem relatively calm around you.
I do snake blinks. Blink, blink, blink.
Yeah, you're just doing, like, the head bob back and forth, and the animals are just like, moo.
I just kind of smack it on the butt. Come on, go. Get up. Giddy up.
They start moving. They get a little hesitant around the dead body and the bones,
ignore
but
Bessie.
they step out.
Ignore Bessie. She died as she lived.
I'm also going to pull out a parchment and my pen, and I'm going to start sketching what this creature looks like.
Okay. I think that's a general wisdom check for something like that, or sleight of hand.
Wisdom?
I mean, you're either using the dexterity of your hands, or you are using your ability to comprehend this thing in order to draw it, so...
Alright, I guess I'll just roll sleight of hand then. 5.
Looks like a big skeleton with some spikes on it. You think you got a good gist of it, but it's a little crude.
Yeah. I'll probably clean this up later. This is more just for documentation purposes. I've never seen anything like this.
Engineer's going to try to lead this cow this way and get it past this one rather than try to go through these two cow corpses.
All right, go ahead and give me animal handling.
Okay. 19.
Ooh, they like you.
I'm not even gonna roll for cow on that one. It just you do notice that you have an issue at one point though, and I will tell you when that point is. The cow walks up the stairs and it is timid to go down the other stairs. Its legs are not meant for going downstairs.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually a prank a lot of people pull in rural areas.
That's
How did
horrible.
it get down here then?
That's a good question, isn't it?
Magic of some sort, I'm assuming.
Give me another handle animal to try to coax it down.
Okay, I have a backup plan if this fails. 8.
It's rolling for cow. I'll be damned. The cow is like, you just kind of like shove it, like, go on. It's like, Mrr.
I know you don't.
Let me roll a quick dex check for this cow.
Man.
Can I?
It actually makes it just fine.
There you go.
It kind of stumbles a little, but with those checks, it'll leave.
We're gonna get you back home.
Alrighty, I guess we escort the cows out.
Yeah, I'll just say with those checks, you're able to, for the most part, just get the cows out of here, and you head back up to the surface.
I grabbed the
cows in
spike on
tow.
the way out.
Yep, you got a big old bone spike. For the purposes of weaponry, it can be used as a spear without reach, if you wanted.
It's more the proof
I know.
of our victory.
I'm just saying it has weapon properties.
Okay.
And is that all you wanted to do down here before heading up?
Just Asmo on the way out, as he looks, just does one more quick investigation check of the whole place to see if there's anything else that's with all the coffins and everything. Just want to look through them all.
Okay.
See if there's anything there. Do I do investigation?
Yeah, go ahead.
Ooh, -1. Let's do it. 6. Nothing.
Yeah, you're starting to notice the smell of that milk is starting to get rank in the air. The air is cool, but it's not cool enough to keep that milk fresh.
I can't believe that demonic summoning made that milk curdle.
It was real bad for it. I mean, it looks like pink Kool-Aid just because of all the blood in it.
Oh god, so gross.
We're gonna have to send the townsfolk back in here for the corpses.
All right, so
We're gonna have to send Barnes in here for the corpses.
you guys head up and out of the catacombs and head back to the town. Which area in the town do you want to head to do
Barnes
this? It's you actually notice that dawn is actually starting to approach here. Like the sky's starting to get a little more yellow and red.
Oh, you didn't freaking sleep. How long were we fighting for?
You don't even know what time dawn is supposed to be around here is the problem.
He's assuming it's morning.
Yeah, it's definitely morning around here, but you also before this spent most of your time in a cave.
It's true. That's true.
Daenerys walking towards Barnes's hut.
The witch hut?
Barnes's hut.
The old gravekeeper.
Oh yeah. Okay, go for it.
Yeah, it's dark inside.
Daenerys walks up to the door and he begins knocking on the door rather heavily.
You hear some startled commotion inside. I swear it wasn't me!
Relax.
Open the door.
What? You see a man in kind of like a sleeping gown open the door. Kind of cracks open first. You see a quivering, scared eye of an old man.
Yeah, Daenerys standing there. He is beaten, bloody, a giant scabby hole in his chest, but he looks over towards him and he gives a little smile. Yeah, I'm a cat of my word.
You lot did it.
It's dead.
In the distance.
Come on, Bessie, come on, come on.
I don't know how to repay you.
Daenerys
You might have just saved this town.
Daenerys lifts up the spike. The necromancer summoned an abomination, 20 feet tall. It fired this at us.
The fuck? And you killed that thing?
Yup.
Yeah.
I'm a bit lost for words, lads. You'll have to forgive me a little. I didn't expect this. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Now, I only have one question for you.
Yeah?
The drow. Did he put anything inside of your house to track your movements or to spy on you?
He didn't seem like he thought he needed to. He's powerful, intimidating. I wasn't gonna go against him.
Good. Last thing I wanted was whoever was in charge of the drow to come after you.
Thank you.
Hey. Doing good? That's what we're here for. I gotta say, Mr. White and Mr. Black, hell of a couple of handy hands to have around.
I don't believe I got your name to begin with, sir.
I'm Daenerys. I am in the north doing magical research. Magic is my specialty.
Well, clearly.
Daenerys
Thank
gives a
you
little
so
bit of a
much,
smile.
Daenerys. You're a hero to us.
It's my pleasure. Now, if
Mr.
you-
White, Mr. Black.
What?
Thank you.
Just, as well, just thumbs up. He's just trying to push the last cow out of the way. Come on.
Yeah.
Now,
Don't mention
Asmo,
it.
you slowly but surely herd them back into just like a pen so that they can just stand in ranch land.
Good. We don't have to take them back to town.
Yeah. And
Daenerys
eventually,
smiles,
yeah.
pats Barnes on the shoulder, gives him a thumbs up, and he assists Asmo in leading the cows away.
Yeah, you guys get them back into a pen. You don't really focus on where the hell they need to go. Like they do have some like different brands on them, but who the fuck cares? Just get the cows in, sort them out later.
Herd them all. Let the farmer sort them out.
Exactly. And with that, you can try to head back to town to try to deliver the news.
Alrighty, let's do that then. You ready to go to town? You got anything you guys want to say?
Sounds like everything's been said.
Okay,
Yep.
cool.
Yeah, so you guys head back to town. Dawn is starting to approach. You're starting to see the sun start to peek out over the, like, you're starting to see sunbeams kind of peek out over the mountain. Can't quite see the sun yet, but it's coming out nonetheless. And you make your way back into town. You see a couple of people out and about. Some people actually just leaving the tavern.
Now, hindsight being 2020, you probably should have asked your cousins to help us out. That's what happens when you don't trust people.
And they were working on something else.
Oh, I'm pretty sure they could have just stopped for like an hour and helped us out.
Feels like you've been at this for more than an hour. Yeah, you get to the tavern and you see the patron just kind of like wiping stuff down. Oh, see a lot. What the hell? You look like hammered shit.
Got your cows back.
Fucking.
I showed him the spike.
What the fuck happened?
Take it away, you two.
Asmo just puts his feet up on a table and just like puts his head back and tries to.
We thought we were just dealing with cattle wranglers. That ain't look like no cattle wrangler prod.
I've got this, Mr. White. Mr. Black. We investigated the plight of your missing cattle.
No,
Our findings were alarming, and how closely your village came to the edge of total destruction. We ventured to the local barn where we were told that 2 of your own stood guard over the remaining cows, only to find the pair murdered.
what?
Skeletons missing. Flesh and muscle discarded like husks.
Take it easy.
By the gods.
Necromancy was afoot. While I studied the scene, Mr. White and Mr. Black found tracks leading out of the barn. Skeletal tracks leading the cows away. We followed the tracks to your graveyard, where its protector was being held hostage by the necromancer.
Old Barnes?
Old Barnes. We followed the tracks deep into the heart of the graveyard, descending into the depths of the tomb, and there we beheld a sight. The missing cows, tied up, undead robbing them of their precious life-giving milk. The battle was fierce, numerous undead descending upon us in a swarm, blades flashing in the torchlight, the sound of magic striking bones and blades filled the air. All the while, Mr. White's magic locked in combat with the dark magic of the necromancer. Knowing the minions defeated, the 3 of us closing in, he decided to use his final trump card, a card that he intended to use on this very village. Uttering a dark prayer, he took his own life, using the energy to summon a dark abomination, a Lord of Bones. This Bone Lord stood 15, 20 feet tall, at least, emerging from the pool of milk in the center of the room. Its attention immediately drawn upon me. Drawing its attention away from my compatriots, it lifted its skeletal hand, a giant spike of bones rocking forward, striking me through the torso, leaving me struggling to stand. Daenerys lifts the spike, and all while he's doing this, he's prestidigitationing to assist the story. Sound effects, visual images.
Yeah,
everything.
this guy's freaking out, by the way. You have made him extremely uncomfortable.
I sort of grab Daenerys and shake him a little bit.
Okay.
Listen, I know you've been practicing for weeks on your little story there, but you're scaring him.
Oh, fuck.
Then let me cut to the chase.
Okay.
It's dead. The creature is dead. The cows, we saved as many as we could. The necromancer, also gone. What threatened your town has been defeated.
Okay, well, I'll have to gather the. I'll have to gather people. Please feel free to rest and relax. Help yourself. I'm.
Sir.
He just kind of starts stammering and walking.
Sir. Everything is going to be okay now.
Okay. Thank you. It's a lot to take in.
It always is.
I'll go gather the ranchers and I'll be back. Help yourself. He hands you a key to essentially, like, the place.
Ah, lovely. Well, you take your time.
He kind of nods and starts walking off into town. He, like, looks left and look right. Not sure where to go first, and he just kind of chooses a direction and goes.
Going to the liquor cabinet.
Yep, that key does unlock that.
Asma kind of just gives himself up.
I'll have whatever you're having.
There are a couple of bottles of brown liquor, a couple of bottles of clear liquor, a keg of ale, like some kegs of ale around the bar.
You got some Newcastle Brown.
I mean, the ale is essentially that.
All right. Pours himself some of the brown stuff. Well, let's see what this does.
Take a little sniff of it. It smells strong. Smells oaky. Tastes a little like bourbon.
All right, and I pour Asmo half a glass of it.
It's bourbon-esque.
Yes, bourbon-esque.
Sounds like a sexy brand.
Yeah, you guys can rest yourselves. You kind of start to see people start to gather, and eventually you have a good crowd of people just kind of gathering around you as you're drinking. That's the lot that done saved our cows. I only counted 5, says one man from the back. What happened to the others?
Asma looks up. A giant skeleton with 4 arms stepped on them.
I'll be quiet. Steps backwards.
Asma goes back to just sipping.
The bodies are still at the scene of the battle. We may need assistance retrieving them.
There's also a dead drow. A necromancer who's behind the entire thing.
Didn't the drow's body disappear?
Yeah, he just kind of left some clothes behind. And you have his rapier and his longbow.
I actually think he became that thing.
The what? He became what?
You did find a corpse. It disintegrated after the fact.
Okay. Oh. Yeah, you'll find a bunch of clothes to some guy. Don't worry about it.
All right. Well, a relatively well-dressed gentleman walks forward. Well, on behalf of our town, I'd like to thank you personally for... I mean, we don't know you, but you have done us a great service this day, and we don't have much by means of compensation, but this is what we could scrounge together. And he kind of sets down a bag of various coins that seem to allot to about 100 gold. And, thank you for informing us of our lost boys out at the ranch. This was theirs, and I guess they won't be getting much use of them anymore, but it sounds to us, you made rumblings that you're traveling. I think these will be of use to you. And he hands you 2 water skins that are full of water.
Oh. Thank you.
Daenerys, I guess Daenerys and Wolfgang take one. Yeah, you guys take it. I'll just alt not to have it.
All right, well, I'll take a water skin.
I'll take one.
Just so you know, there are 3 dead cows up in the crypt. And they're freshly killed, so if you want a bunch of meat, I mean, now's the time to get it.
You bring up an excellent point, sir.
No sense in wasting like 3 cows. Like God, that's a lot. That's a lot of meat. That's a lot of jerky.
If it would please you, sirs, we'd like to use that meat as a feast in your honor.
That sounds good. We like that.
He looks at both of them.
Honorable feast. Oh, I could go for something to eat.
Well, yeah. I mean,
as long as we have a township, you lot will be welcome here.
No,
You're free to use our facilities as you see fit. You may rest in our inn free of charge. Hey, I didn't agree. You shut your fucking mouth. Fair enough.
Asma points at him too, like at the same time as the mayor. Asma's like leaning on his chair backwards too, like just.
Biggie, would you think I might go steal a nap right now? We eating tonight?
Yes, we'll prepare everything for you, sirs.
Best of luck. There's a lot of dead skeletons down there.
I mean, I'd assume.
Well,
they kind of gather a party of people and they start marching into the graveyards with old barns.
Wolfgang will probably go down there to help them just in case there's any residual necrotic energy. And he'll have to deal with it.
Yeah, they tell you that, like, you know, they assure you that if you wish to go rest, you definitely can. You look like you've had a hell of an evening. In fact, some of the town's physicians are willing to look you guys over and heal you up. They seem to have, like, there's a town cleric for the goddess of death, but they are able to heal, and they do heal you guys back up to full.
Yay! Also, we leveled up, so I have more health now, right?
Yes, I've already adjusted your character sheet.
I noticed. I'm very happy about this. Thank you,
Yes.
Nick.
Everything is taken care of.
Finally. Find you a DM like Nick.
Yeah, you guys rest and relax during the day. The Wolfgang, if you did go with them, the excavation goes pretty easily. They gather the skeletons, and you, if you are down there, even point out which ones were from the guards. It's pretty easy to point out since they were the ones covered in fresh blood.
A couple of red lads.
Yeah, the cows are chopped up and carried out in chunks and sections. They don't know what to do about the milk just yet, since it's just kind of pooling there. So
Blood
they're gonna have to.
cheese!
So they're just gonna have to devise something for that.
I can probably. While I'm down there, I can probably just cast prestidigitation over and over again to just slowly clean it.
You could.
They appreciate like it.
Come to Birch-wood Creek. We have the best crypt blood cheese you could ask for.
Delicious crypt blood cheese. Yeah, you managed to clean up some of the milk. There's like hundreds of gallons of it though. It would take a while for you, but they appreciate your efforts.
Yeah. While I'm down there, I will ask one of them, why do you even have this giant trough?
One of the people would explain to you basically that this tomb here was built by one of the prophets of death. Somebody who was believed to be able to communicate with the god itself, and their divine word was told to build such a crypt itself and to only house dead prophets, basically. Which is why this entire area seems to be devoid of actual corpses. It seems to be more like a church or a altar than an actual burial site.
Yeah, it did sort of seem like that. All right, well, as soon as they don't need my help anymore, I will return and then get some rest.
Yeah, you help them out, make sure that nothing evil down there is waiting for them, and you clean up a little bit of stuff, help them point out some things, and yeah, you head back out there and you get some shut-eye during the day. How about the rest of you? What do you plan to do with your day? Because it has been a long one.
Daenerys is going to offer the mayor the bone spear as a token of the town's survival. He's going to sleep, and he is going to proceed to have nightmares.
Yeah.
A lot of nightmares.
The mayor graciously accepts it, kind of bows his head to you, and yeah, you try to sleep. Give me a will save just to try to sleep real quick.
Okay. 13.
It's uncomfortable, but you eventually get yourself there.
All right.
Asmo, how about you? Did you already like zonk out?
Asmo's fucking asleep.
Yeah, you are unconscious in a room with a nice straw bed, but you got a blanket and a pillow, and you get a nice like the room is actually radiating a nice warm, comfortable air from somewhere. You're not sure how.
Perception check on that one.
Sure.
15.
Seems to be coming from a brick just kind of in the center of the room. Seems to be acting as some form of hearth.
That's neat. That's neat. I like that. Asmo pushes the bed over towards it so he can stay nice and toasty.
Yeah, your cold blood kind of quivers as it gets closer, and you're like, ah, yes. Ah, yes, Sunrock, yes.
Just like Asmo just kind of turns into a croissant for sleep.
Yeah. You curl up in the hay. You kind of bury yourself in it a little. You poke your head out over the side of the bed onto a pillow. Yes. Yeah. And you're just a curled up little croissant snake man.
Oh, thank you. By the way, Nick, just not to pull from the chapel, would you say it's a hearthstone?
Yes.
Ha ha!
You got me.
Got him.
Yeah. You all get what essentially equates to a short rest for right now, as you begin to smell meat in the air, you hear some revelry, and you wake up when it appears to be about dusk. You're not sure how many hours you've been sleeping. It's somewhere between 3 hours and 5 hours, though. So you definitely notice that the days are much shorter up here.
Asmo wakes up.
Yeah, the smell of meat wafts into your nostrils as the sun is sinking into the sky on the opposite end now.
Does Asmo know where the other two are sleeping?
Okay,
Not really, but they're around. There are a couple of rooms in this inn, and they aren't separated by doors. So if you walk out into the hallway, you'd probably be able to find them if you look through the doorways.
Asmo goes over and kicks Tanir's foot. Wakey, wakey, eggs, and wake up.
Take a big whiff right now. I think
He
that
slowly
meal-
sits up, smells, and his eyes just shoot open.
Ah, delicious, delicious slow roast meat.
Freshly,
Okay, I'll accept this
freshly-
as a wake-up call.
freshly brought up from the crypts. I'm gonna go wake up.
Delicious crypt cow.
Crypt cow.
I'm gonna go wake up Wolfgang.
And Asmo goes and is Wolfgang up?
Wolfgang's got a
Wolfgang
he's
is
got a
asleep.
he's got a half-empty bottle of brown liquor next to him.
Do you have your cowboy hat down over your face with your hands behind your head?
Sure, why not?
For flavor.
Well, we'll find out what the flavor is of the meat when we get there. But
Mm-hmm.
Asmo just like knocks on the inside of the wall.
I think that meat they're making for us is ready to go, Mr. Monster Hunter.
Yeah, it's
So it is.
permeating the air.
It's right. The air is thick with meat.
The air is thick with meat stench.
Love me the meat. That's a good stench.
Delicious meat stench.
Are they barbecuing?
They did not have the time for barbecue, nor does this climate really work for low and slow kind of cooking.
I see. Oh well, as long as they grilled it.
Wolfgang sort of leaves his hat and his coat on his bed and walks out.
Now you see the town kind of gathering. There are some that are still definitely in mourning over the loss of the guards. There are some that are scared over what has happened, but there are some that are trying to keep the spirits up.
Do we see where the meat? Do we, I guess, whiff the air? Perception to find out where the meat is. Let's go.
Oh, you can see it. There is a basically like what looks to be like a fire pit, a couple of fire pits with spits on it, and it's just stacks and stacks of meat slowly being turned like rotisserie style over it. Basically, it looks like slabs of gyro meat.
Oh, yum. Just big honks of meat.
Yes.
You ever have meat on a stick?
And
Stick meat.
a couple of people see you exit. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, our town's heroes, says somebody and the crowd turns and they start politely applauding, but then some start cheering a little bit more. You got about what looks to be like the entire town out here. You got some children, but it's about 15 to 20 people, maybe.
Okay, not
They're
bad.
cheering you guys on.
Hello, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Meat, please.
He hands you, like, one of the mayor hands each of you basically a plank of wood. Oh, please walk up, sirs. And one of the men cranking the thing holds out like a machete and just starts kind of like chopping off the side as you're getting some of the crispy, delicious skin with some of the drippings on there sliced onto your plate. They give you a wedge of bread and a small chunk of cheese.
Thank you very much.
This is a hell of a rotisserie board, but okay. Asmo takes his giant plank of meat.
Excuse me, what you're about to see will horrify a lot of you.
Asmo just tilts
Yeah,
it entirely backwards into his mouth.
You unhinge your jaw, widen it as you tilt the thing like an onboarding ramp as it slides down your gullet. The children are like, wow. And the men are like, Jesus.
No matter how many times you see it, you never get over it.
One of the kids walks up to you. Do it again! Do it again!
I said.
You heard him, as well.
His mother like taps him like, leave the man alone. He's. Yeah, you guys.
Is it over?
Yeah, you guys each get a plank, and you get as much as you want because there's a lot of meat here.
Yum, yum, yum.
And as you sit,
just smiling and waving at people and says, eating and enjoying the meat.
Yeah, as the people begin to disperse into their own little social circles, the mayor comes down and joins you guys at a table.
Again, I don't know if we can properly thank you enough for everything you've done. Old Barnes says you'll be heading north soon. You're traveling the lands for research.
Yes, sir. I'm writing a book.
It's admirable work that you'd stop to do something like this for people like us. Any plans on where you're going next?
What was the town that the cousin said?
The cousins mentioned a town called Cold Reach. It's up towards the north, kind of a few stopgaps in between you and the capital, basically.
We haven't decided yet, but Cold Reach might be a good stop.
Good stop for anybody heading that way. Although rumors abound that there's vampires in the land lately.
Oh yeah,
hard to say.
I did hear something about that.
Word spreads around here, but it doesn't get here till later. Cold Reach is a trading epicenter for those that still live in our lands.
Lani, by chance, can I roll to see how much I know about vampires through like reading and things?
General
like that?
intelligence, yeah.
Oh, that one, please. What's a vampire?
17.
Oof. You know that they feast on blood. They cannot stand radiant energy, and they are typically feral creatures. Although some have been known to garner quite a bit of intelligence, and it's those that are the most dangerous.
Basically, they're really good hunters.
You could say that, I suppose.
Yeah. I've heard stories, little bits here and there. We'll definitely have to keep our eyes out for them.
If you are heading up that way, well, not that I don't think you can take care of yourselves, but be careful nonetheless.
Of course. Thank you for the advice. Anything else around the general area within the next couple cities that we should be made aware of? Locations that we should avoid at all costs? I've heard rumors of a jester that we should keep an eye out for.
Pure speculative rumor, I hear. Though people are bound to come up with stories from such terrible tragedies. The town of Bordeaux was nearly wiped out overnight. You're not from around here, are you?
Originally, I'm from the Southern Islands, but...
Well, then you are quite a ways from home.
Well, when you're studying magic, you have to go to the heart of it, and word has told me that all the magic is to the far north, and the greatest library in the world is in the capital.
And the rest of you lot from the southern country as well.
Yeah, I was born in the capital.
I'd be very careful with who you give that information to.
What was that?
Some lot around here still blame the South for quite a few atrocities. I ain't got no problems with you. Obviously, if you was bad folk, we wouldn't be having this conversation. But some of the lot around here, I blame your lot down there for all them's fires that were erupting around these towns with all them magic bloods. Them sorcerers. I ain't no educated man, So I don't know one way for another. If it is somebody down there doing it, that's their problem. You lots is good in our book. But still, I'd be careful telling where you're from. Not a lot of good comes from that.
Fair enough. We'll keep that in mind. Thank you.
He kind of nods to you.
Lani, the southern islands where the Tabaxi typically live, are they part of the Southern Empire, or are they kind of on their own?
They're relatively on their own. I mean, they're kind of independent states on their own, but they definitely receive aid from the Empire, and they are their only trading partner, really, except for some of the people out in the basically untamed wests, where sometimes you'll get some trade with some interesting shady characters, but for the most part it's mostly with Dragon's Rest, just because they have port towns and things like that to trade with.
Okay. Had to make sure, because if you're, most Tabaxi come from the Southern Islands, correct?
Yes. Yeah, that is where your people hail from.
Okay. So
anybody like there are Tabaxi in the southern continent, but they've migrated essentially, and they are rare.
Yeah. Like, since I came to Amberglade, I've never seen another Tabaxi, correct?
Yeah, not in that area.
Okay.
Every now and again, when you were on the road towards Dragon's Rest, you would find a trader or two out there, but none that really had any connection to the southern continent or southern islands.
Okay. Had to check.
No problem. Yeah, the mayor just kind of pulls out a pipe and starts smoking. Kind of nods to you guys and...
Well, I'll leave you boys to your evening, and again, please help yourself to anything around here.
Before you
We've got
leave,
much, but what we... Oh.
before you leave, you may want to see if you can conscript a holy man, maybe a cleric or a paladin, come by and take a look at your graves, maybe help consecrate the soil a little better.
Well, our town's preacher, he's already out doing that thing as soon as he heard what lot went down there. I mean, you met him if you went into the tomb.
Yeah, you would have met the town cleric. He's kind of a meek individual, he's got black oily hair, kind of parted to one side, and gangly looking, very properly dressed. But he was doing a whole bunch of ceremonies and stuff out there at the site to try to re-sanctify this tomb.
I think that's all the advice I can offer to prevent this from happening again. But other than that, we're glad you're safe, and thank you for the feast.
Wouldn't be this way without you, lads. Thank you.
And the old man kind of wanders off. Kind of chats with the town folks, see how they're doing.
Asmo sits down beside Wolfgang.
Scoot your chair over a bit.
Yeah.
And that, Asmo, that's why I do this.
Really? Thought you haven't done this for a long time, from what you told me before.
I haven't. I thought I was done.
And why the sudden interest? You could have just walked through this town. Could have just traveled with your damn family up north. Though I don't trust them 100%, and you gotta respect why.
You see, there's something happened a while back, made me not want to keep doing it. I had something more important to do, raise my boy. But ever since we saw that teenager with the crystal, I felt that if I didn't do something, the world wasn't going to be safe for him to grow up in.
It's refreshing to see a parent who cares. But me mindful about one thing. We're up here for one reason. That job that we're being paid a lot of money for. And while this little dalliance to the side was effective in helping the local townsfolk and solid, we almost died back there. You got knocked down really goddamn hard.
Yep.
Just lucky I jumped on the freaking creature's back and cut off its head.
I sure am.
Yeah.
If I was alone, I'd probably be dead.
Yeah, so be mindful of that next time we start volunteering for shit that only pays 100 gold.
He says that in a very hushed tone.
Because I do not want to die up here. You understand me? I want to get back to the southern capital. Because I have business there. Much like you have business in your home with your son. I ask that you respect that. So next time you want to go monster hunting, make it worth my while.
And Asmo gets up, grabs one more plate of food, and walks it, takes it with him back up to his hotel room.
Wolfgang sort of picks some cow out of his teeth with his tongue. Just be sure to remember that.
And Daenerys just sitting there awkwardly eating.
I'm really happy to be hanging out, guys. That was weird.
Wolfgang. Sorry, okay, go ahead.
What is it, Daenerys? Are you?
Did you have something you wanted to say, Taka?
No, this is your conversation now.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gone. I'm left.
I left the scene.
What's that, Daenerys? Are you about to tell me that you're only in it for the money and you're not willing to save good people as well?
No, it was my idea to look into going after the cows. We did something good here, and we have a goal, and what we did here helped that goal. And we helped a lot of good people here. We helped Barnes. We helped these people. I'm happy about that. But
there's the but.
Yeah, here's the but. I've seen things traveling with you two. I know I can trust you two, without a doubt. But I've seen things that are shaking my perceptions. For the longest time, you know what, was just something that I would grasp when I would be troubled or when I was afraid. But now, I'm starting to fear it. I saw it. It grabbed me. It began to pull me in. I wanted to scream, but I couldn't. And then there was just darkness all around me. When I awoke, Asthma was over the top of me. I'm afraid of what these things do. I'm afraid of these things, what these things have the capability of doing in this world. And one by one, I want to stop these people from using these things the way that they've been using them. The kid, this necromancer, I don't like it. If it means putting myself in harm's way to try to stop someone from having to go through what I'm going through now, it's worth it. But I'm going to need your help. I'm going to need his help. I'll motion back towards the hotel. Because I don't know what this thing is going to do. And if it gets to that point, if it needs to be, I want you to physically take it from me. I don't know if it has the capability of it, but if you need to, I want you to take it from me if you feel that you have to.
Wolfgang nods. And smiles. You're being very forthcoming with me about this. I appreciate that.
I know that you and I haven't had a lot of talking on this trip, but you seem like out of the three of us, you're the most prepared, and you're the most knowledgeable about this kind of stuff with your history.
Suppose I am. Then again, I don't know what either of you know. Not much, anyway. But I do appreciate you being forthcoming with me. I did have plans to intervene if something like what happened in that crypt happened again.
Mm-hmm.
But I appreciate you telling me all this, and I will do my absolute best to make sure that I help you as much as I can with this. And trust me, I have as much stake in this as you do. Maybe not as much, but pretty high. After all, I don't trust these crystals any more than you do. But you need to be smarter about this. You've had these visions for a while now, and the first thing you did when that thing popped out of that giant skeleton's head is you grabbed it. I'm going to need you to let me handle the crystals from now on. You can keep whatever crystals you've got now, but I'm equipped to deal with this. I don't think you are.
A thought crossed my mind. Call it hindsight. Call it me just beating myself up over what happened. I have a way that I can manipulate it without actually touching it. And
You're talking
you
about
remember
mage
in the
hand.
Yeah, my mage hand. I could have just grabbed it with the mage hand. I don't know if it'll do anything to me touching it with the mage hand, but it's worth a shot.
Let's find out.
Denier stops for a second and he looks at him, an almost worried look in his eyes.
Go ahead, take it out right now.
Denier is going to. How many people are around? Just them, or?
There's a few people at a few various tables. You guys seem to be kind of over in a corner. People tend to look over at you every now and again, but you're relatively on your own.
Okay. Mage hand. I will go ahead and pull up the bag.
All right. As you open the bag, the two crystals seem to be pulsing in sync with each other.
Okay. I will use the mage hand to attempt to reach in and at least touch my gem.
All right. The mage hand goes in, and it seems to handle it just fine as you touch it.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Any visions, any sensations?
Anything? Just no?
Nothing that you're... give me a perception check, I guess.
Okay. Perception. Nah, 6.
Nothing. It's just you're holding it with the mage hand. So you know that you have it.
When's the last time you touched it? Yours, I mean.
Mine. A few days ago in the bar, I tried to identify it.
You've been trying to wean yourself off of it.
I've been working on meditating. Been trying to meditate to lean away from my reliance on it. But when I tried to cast a spell on it, I got another vision.
What spell?
I identify.
Ooh.
I wanted to learn more about it, but I've been working on new spells. I've been working on one, and I'll motion to some of the tears in Wolfgang's jacket. I figured out a way how to mend our clothing so that we don't have to walk around with, ragged, holy clothes. When I first started working on this, I thought about trying to use it to repair it, but last time I tried something like that, I saw it. I'm going to use the mage hand to cover both gems in the lead powder. Make sure they're both completely covered and buried in the center of it, and then I'm going to go ahead and tie it up and put it back into my bag, into my spell component pouch.
Cool.
Well, this has told me a few valuable things about those crystals. If they're manipulated by magic, they're manipulated physically by magic. Doesn't seem to be any ill effects, but if they're manipulated by something like divination or enchantment, then some weird things start happening. It might be connected. Might be trying to connect via some divination to you. You seem to be a conduit for these dreams as well. I held the crystal with a gloved hand, and I didn't really feel anything. Silver locket didn't feel nothing.
I have a feeling this isn't going to be the only one that we've seen, but I've been working on spells, which is in character how I'm explaining that Denier gets spells whenever he levels up.
Yeah, I mean, that's how wizards do it. You study.
I've got one. It's not quite done yet, but it's going to be useful. If I can get it right, it's going to let me send a message to anyone in the world.
That's unuseful.
Yeah. I figure at the very least you would find it useful that we could get in contact with Jamat and check on Elliot whenever you want.
Well, if you're working on that for my sake, that's flattering, but you don't owe me anything.
Well, that's just one reason why I'm working on it. I want to be able to report exactly, what we're seeing and everything like that. But I also, call it a bit of a selfish reason, but I want to send a message back home. Let them know I'm okay.
Well, that doesn't sound very selfish at all.
Maybe.
Well, this has been an enlightening talk.
Yeah, you guys finish up your beers and liquor. You eat the meat that's on your plate. People come over and they thank you as you're walking up to head back to bed for the evening, and you eventually go back and you retire to your rooms. Osmo's lantern is out at the end of the hall. You assume he fell asleep some time ago.
Wolfgang is going to turn back to Denier one last time. Just be like, "You're a good kid, Denier. I hope you stay that way."
Thanks. Before you go, anything that you want mended tonight, I'm going to need it.
Wolfgang runs into his room real quick and just tosses Denier his hat and his jacket.
It's got quite a few scratch marks and blood stains on it.
See you in the morning.
See you in the morning.
Wolfgang just kind of collapses. Denier, you spend your night just casting your spells and getting everything ready. Yep. You guys get what equates to the rest of a full night's sleep. And you wake up and it's still dark as fuck out.
I hate this place.
It's kind of chilly too. Not a fan.
It's like the exact opposite of home.
Yeah, you and Osmo are having the worst time of it. Osmo's cold-blooded. It takes him a while to even get up.
Nah. You ever do that thing where you just keep hitting the snooze button?
Yeah.
And you just roll over one side of the bed? That's what he keeps doing.
Yeah, every time you get up and try to curl out of the hay, you just realize, air cold, no.
Like a cat.
Yeah. Eventually, you manage to get yourself all bundled up in your warm clothes. You put on some gloves.
Can I pull up my fire blade and just have the fire effect on it?
Oh, absolutely. Just holding in front of you.
kind of like a heat fan.
Yeah. It also gives off a little bit of a glow. It's nice. Yeah, you guys meet up out in the lobby, and seems to be a few people still wandering around out there, but a lot of them are asleep. You see a couple of lights on in some of the cottages.
Now, silly question, out of character real fast here. Now, Tom and them, they said they were setting up nearby. They never said where.
True.
Oh, shit. So we've lost them. Okay.
Well, you can make a perception check real quick.
hard perception check. Like, I perceive. And it is a 10.
You notice nothing out of the ordinary.
Okay. So I guess Osmo's up first and just kind of like wearing his gloves.
The other two got up before you. You were taking... I mean, you're all getting up at relatively the same time. You just took longer to get up because it's so fucking cold.
Asmo kind of gives Wolfgang one of those, yeah, we had an intense conversation last night looks. I hope we're cool kind of look. At him. Like, hope you get me kind of look. There's a lot going into this look.
It's a complicated look.
It's a very complicated look for Asmo.
Also, it's a snake man, so...
To make an insight check to try and decipher this?
Decipher my look.
There's so much. Your face is like a map. 17.
Asmo smiles at the end, and you can see his golden tooth. His right fang is golden.
Yeah, you feel like this man has been shaken, and he is definitely uncomfortable. He doesn't mean you any ill by it, but man, does he, like... He's not sure how he feels right now with the situation that's been presented to him.
We're going to keep on traveling north. You still have that key to get to the, to our lovely, lovely favorite tavern, the Wandering Weasel, where the host is really extra. Where are we traveling? Further north, I'm guessing you two.
Yeah, we're traveling to,
Cold Reach.
Yeah, Cold Reach.
Well, it's fucking cold out. Besides, so it's not much of a reach.
Denier hands over the hat, the jacket, everything like that.
Everything's been mended.
Mended, cleaned. Looks new.
Yeah, looks like when you first put it on. It's kind of like how Jamat mends things. Seems like.
With any luck, we might bump into him anyway.
Yeah, you guys begin your journey north as you head out of town. It's still dark. Dark as hell. And it stays that way for a few hours. You feel like you've been marching for maybe like 4 or 5 hours before you begin to see the light glow on your left side as the mountains begin to glow a little bit at their tips. The land is beginning to get sparser and sparser. The trees are starting to not so much have leaves anymore as they start to have little needles, little green needles growing out of them.
If we come across any streams, rivers, anything like that, I'm going to stop. I'm going to ask them to stop, and I'm going to watch the river for a minute or two, looking for fish.
Yeah, there's a small creek, but nothing with any fish in it.
Okay.
Seems to be the creek that leads into the town.
Fair enough.
Then you cross past that, you just find a nice little spot to hop over it, and you keep going.
Okay.
As we get closer, I'm going to summon Requiem and load it up with silver bullets because I remember they said there were vampires around here.
Yep. You reload your gun. Spin the chamber. All the pieces of it seem to be in working order.
All right, and then I dismiss it.
The sun eventually comes over the mountains to the southwest of you.
While we're walking, that the 100 gold, is that 100 each or just 100 for the party?
It was 100 for the party, so
yeah, then
you can divvy that up however you seem fit.
Yeah, the Nero split it up, 33 gold for everybody, 33 silver, 33 silver pieces, and
3 copper.
Yeah, and then whoever wants it, Asmo or Wolfgang, can have the final copper.
Asmo will take the final copper because he's a cheap motherfucker.
Tink. Yeah, you guys continue traveling, and the day begins to pass. The wildlife around here is different from what you're familiar with.
What are we seeing?
You're seeing a lot of various shaded hares, but they're starting to get lighter in color as you travel north. And a peculiar thing happens in the early evening, which, by the way, this day seemed to have only lasted about 3 or 4 hours.
Good God in heaven.
Yeah. As the sun begins to set over the southeast, as you're coming across, like coming out of what seems to be a small valley, you can see on the map here, you begin to notice strange particles falling from the sky.
What color are the particles?
Well, they're kind of shining in the sunlight as they're coming down, but as you kind of like hold out your hand and they fall on your glove, they are white. And they're cold to the touch.
Oh.
Something that anybody south of the Maw would never have experienced. Except by magical means.
Asmo's
even
heard
is
of this,
this?
right? Asmo's heard of this, right?
Has he?
I don't know. Fuck. Okay.
Go ahead and give me an intelligence check.
Oh no. That's a 13.
You've heard tales of people that have come from the north talking about white, like tiny little white ice fragments that fall from the sky. They seem to call it snow.
Snow?
It's like, the way they describe it's like their equivalent to rain.
Asmo just kind of like takes his glove out and feels it fall on his hand.
It lands on your hand and stays for a little bit, but then it melts away onto your palm, and the little droplets of water kind of collect in your palm.
Asmo pulls out his blade and just warms up his hand afterwards.
Yeah, you put your glove back on, rewarm yourself up, but it's beginning to get dusky. And you guys have been marching for about 7 or 8 hours, and you're starting to get tired. By the way, one thing that you've both basically gone through your water skins for the day. Yeah, you shared the contents of it amongst you guys, and you've got a few more rations thanks to the cooking last night. It's starting to get dark, and you feel like you're gonna need to warm yourselves up because it's getting colder as the sun's going down.
Should we stop for camp?
I think that would be best. What are we surrounded by at the moment?
You got some of those pine trees around here. You seem to be entering what looks to be kind of a field area. What in the south would be prairies, but up here seems a little bit more tundra-y. Not quite Arctic tundra, but definitely plains lands.
You are literally describing where I used to live. This
Cool.
has been really trippy. It's really neat though. City of Fort St. John.
Yeah, you guys can roll a survival check if you want to look for some firewood, or if you have any other means to stay warm.
Denier, you wouldn't happen to have anything to let us know if something's creeping up on us, right?
19, by the way.
Actually,
19
I
on
do.
survival?
It's going to take me a little bit.
Yeah, that's my survival.
All right. As Denier prepares for security for the evening, Osmo has gone off in search of dried wood, and he comes back with a good batch of kindling, including some logs from a tree that he was able to fell, and some nice dead branches with lots of dead pine needles at the end. Really good.
I'm gonna go get some more. Asmo just wanders off and goes and gets even more wood. Asmo wants a lot of wood. He wants a big fire tonight. He's cold as shit.
Yeah, you've gathered quite a bit. You got lots of branches, and like I said, you knocked down one pine tree, and you got a couple of logs out of it, and you split those logs, and you got plenty of firewood for the evening. Meanwhile, Denier is casting the alarm spell, going around what you guys are deeming to be your camp zone, putting down some little pegs, like little pikes, and tying string around each one to give yourselves a little bit of a barrier.
Yep.
And Wolfgang, I imagine you're setting up the tent.
Yeah, and once I've finished with that, I have a book of lore. I'm gonna go see if I can brush up my knowledge on vampires.
All right. I'm gonna say investigation with advantage as you're looking through this book.
Okay.
Are we all sitting around the fire while you're doing this?
Yeah, Osmo, you've gotten the fire started, and Wolfgang just finished setting up tents and unrolling bedrolls. When you unroll one of the bedrolls, the Scrying Orb pops out of it.
Oh, shit, I forgot about that.
21.
All right. Yeah, you're able to, like, you go back through Dad's old journal, and you find the section about those that feed on blood, which are essentially the vampire family, and you look for the turned people that have become vampires. You're able to find, like, what sort of information are you looking for?
I'm looking for information on like what they're weak to and how to fend them off.
They fucking hate fire and silver and sunlight.
No, everything I am.
No, your music is fire.
Spit them bars.
Oh, some of the blue you so when I'm a human.
Yeah, you begin telling everybody, like, yeah, if we're going to be running into vampires, this is the kind of stuff you want. Osmo, you're kind of like balancing your new lovely dagger on your finger as he's talking about this shit.
Yeah. Occasionally just heating it up and burning some sticks near him. From the
You're able to start that fire with that dagger. Just
yeah, I stab the pile.
Now, since we're in an open field, it'll be easier for them to find us, especially since we contrast against the snow. But
What are you talking about?
vampires.
Is that what you're reading right now?
Yeah.
Has Asmo heard of vampires? Are they talked about at least commonly enough that he would understand them from their concept?
From what Wolfgang's been telling you, at the very least, like, you've heard about them in the past, but you've never really run into any. Wolfgang's basically telling you everything about them that you might need to know. That they are mortals who have become undead and must feed on blood in order to survive.
Okay.
Most of the time they're feral, but sometimes you run into some that are intelligent, and those can be pretty dangerous. They tend to form organizations, and it's best to wipe them out before they can become a problem like that.
Yeah, their non-profits are really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
I thought we were like we're all just kind of being quiet as we're traveling. I thought it was the first time he actually piped up to speak to Asmo and Denier.
You guys have had traveling conversation. Like, there's only so much silence you can march through There's only so much silence you can march through.
What were you saying, though?
Well, basically, since we're in an open field, we're exposed out here, but we've also got our alarm set up thanks to Denier. And since there aren't really a lot of trees in this field, they don't really have anywhere to hide if we get the drop on them before they get the drop on us. So keep your ears open. They'll more than likely sneak up on us if there are any out here at all. This is just a safety precaution. But if we do see any, be prepared. Watch your neck. They like to go for the neck.
Welcome to the party.
Asmo just smiles.
I'll say for the sake of it, right next to that mountain with that blue dot is about where you guys are camped out right now.
Okay.
So you guys are still staying relatively in the valley, and you got your side to a rocky outcropping.
Didn't mean to snip at you so hard last night. It's just...
No, I
Going to
realized that you were scared. You had the adrenaline going.
Oh, I wasn't scared. I was stressful. Damn right I felt when we killed the fucking thing. Felt like I was gonna live. Because every time I pull your blades in your hand, you know that's gonna happen. It's half the fun of it. God damn it. Gotta weigh whether or not it's worth it or not. It's good that we helped the town. But, I don't know. Is it worth it?
Well, I'd say it was pretty worth it. We got quite a bit of information on what these crystals are capable of.
Yeah, we did.
Which of you have the water skins?
Wolfgang and Daenerys, I believe.
All right. They're actually starting to feel a little heavier.
Are they freezing? I shake mine.
It's full of water.
I smell mine.
It's full of water.
I cast detect magic.
It's very magic.
Okay. What school?
I want to say conjuration, but it could be evocation. Pretty sure conjuration is correct.
Yeah, if it's what I think it is, it's conjuration.
Yeah.
I'm going to cast identify.
They are replenishing water skins. Every night they will refill.
Oh, wow.
That's handy.
I'll be damned. I wonder what someone like this in a town like that was doing with these.
Maybe they bought them from a traveling merchant.
You have noticed
Likely.
that a lot of people seem to have a lot more magic gizmos up here than is common down in the south.
Yeah, those heating rocks.
Yeah, and I like.
Wonder if there's a tinker or something around here. Maybe an enchanter.
More than likely.
Probably not out here in the middle of fucking nowhere.
Nowhere.
No. Does that pan out?
Jesus.
Yeah.
Be surprised. Be surprised. There are hermits that like to keep it themselves so that they can perfect their craft. I wouldn't be surprised if this was
What,
one
they're
of those
perfecting their
cases.
craft of what, being a hermit?
I guess. Being a hermit,
Yeah.
you can do whatever you want.
You guys have begun to come to the realization that you haven't taken a lot of time to understand what the culture is like up here.
Can you repeat that for me, Nick? You cut out actually on my end.
Sorry about that. I'm saying that you guys are actually starting to come to the realization that you're not really sure what the culture is like up here. You've spent all of your time in the South, and you just kind of assumed things were the same, but there seem to be some differences, some definite cultural differences up here in terms of how they perceive things and how they govern.
Meep, meep, meep.
You just hear from the distance. You guys, unless there's anything you wanted to do for the evening, you rest for the night. Nothing seems to trip the alarm.
Yay!
I'll take the evening. I'll mend Asmo's gear, prestidigitation, clean it up, make it look nice.
Gear's
Same-
okay,
same
relatively
with mine.
speaking.
Yeah, you have been scratched up a little bit in that battle, but now it looks all fresh and new.
Oh, if the whole working for the kingdom thing doesn't work out, you could be a cleaner.
Fair enough.
Don't be mean. Hey,
I'll
we're
meditate.
joking- We're joking about the book thing, but hell, you could do it. You like telling stories.
Stories?
Damn near scared that bartender. You went into a goddamn trance talking to that guy.
Yeah, might want to take it easy on that from now on. Townsfolk get spooked easily.
Yeah, I was. I think I went a little bit too much. I was hoping to play it up just a little bit so they'll know exactly what we did. So they, well, you know, they got the point though.
Maybe you'll be a bard.
You guys sure a bit of a laugh about that.
Maybe, maybe I missed my calling.
Nah, you like books. You like telling stories.
This is a conversation that's being had while you guys are breaking down camp and making sure the fire pit is expunged. It's still dark out. Like, the sun has not come up yet. But you guys are
The sun-
essentially fully rested.
I'd sing the sun will come up tomorrow, but I feel like that's a lie.
It might eventually.
Oh God!
You guys break down camp and you continue your way northward. You follow the roads and you take the turn that you need to. There's one fork. You take the one to the right. And you find your way to the city of Cold Reach. Seems to be a relatively large town comprised of stone. As you walk up, there is a large gate that you're passing under. And the town seems to be comprised mostly of stone brick. The buildings seem to be made out of stone brick and with dark metal frames. And it's built in kind of a crossroads pattern with the bit of a statue at the center, but as you approach that statue, you notice that it seems to be half melted.
What? Which half?
Doesn't really matter. The left half, I guess.
Okay, I didn't like half. Like the whole thing's being melted kind of by half, or like just one half.
Yeah, it looks like a metal statue that has received some damage by extreme heat, and there's definitely some melting damage to it. If you want to make a quick perception check as you're entering the town.
You say all the buildings are brick too, right?
Stone brick, gray stone brick.
18.
16.
Yeah, you got some.
Oh, that's persuasion. My bad.
Yeah, go ahead and roll perception.
That's 12.
18 for Denier, 16 for Wolfgang, 12 for Osmo. As you're walking in, you notice, all of you notice the fact that there are nervous people, like, looking out their window and, like, shutting it as you walk by. For Denier, as you approach town center, you notice that, Denier and Wolfgang both notice this, that the bricks from some of the buildings around this statue seem to be new-ish. Like, it definitely seems newer than some of the older buildings out there, which is weird because you think they'd build from the center out, but this part seems to be the newest.
This town's been attacked.
Yeah, as you're walking through, yeah, as you walk up to the town center, you hear,
Hold it!
wait a minute. Oi! Oi, Sam! Sam! You hear two familiar voices as Miguel walks out of an alley, and you look up and you see Magnus sitting on a rooftop aiming a crossbow at you.
Oh, see you later. Oh.
You two look ready for a fight. Vampires been coming into town?
I wish it was vampires. If it's a vampire, then it's the weirdest fucking vampire we've ever ran into.
Yeah, a lot of this seems like there was some fire being shot around, and that's not usually the vampire purview. Why don't you tell me what's going on? You two all right?
We're fine. We've just been put in charge of this investigation with... You know what? It'll be easier if we show you. Come on.
Looks like
Started
more than an investigation.
a little more than we bargained for. We thought we were gonna come in, clear out a coven, and get out, but this shit is fucking weird.
Tell me about it. We went looking for cows and found a necromancer.
Well, with the bodies you found, I'm not surprised, but let's hope these things aren't connected.
And they lead you to a large stone hall that's kind of at the, like, closer to the eastern side of the town, but still toward the center.
All right. Get ready for this shit.
Oh, this should be good.
You open the door. As they open the door, there is no immediate sense of copper or death that you expect from something that seems to be a crime scene, but as you look in, you see a grisly scene. There's a contorted man with his throat slit, body contorted into a horrific pretzel shape. There's no blood in the scene whatsoever. His eyelids have been peeled off, and they're staring blankly at the door.
His eyelids have been peeled off?
His eyelids have been peeled off, and his tongue has been split in two and tied into a rooted knot.
Jesus Christ!
What the fuck?
So yeah, bit more than vampires, I'm afraid.
Did you check the body already?
Yeah.
And this is where we will take a break.
What the fucking shit?
We'll be right back. I've got to pee.
After these messages.
There we go. So yes, Miguel and Magnus have led you into this room. It seems a relatively nice room. Doesn't look like there was even a struggle, and this body is sitting there, arms and legs broken and contorted, throat slit, and again, not a drop of blood in this entire place. Eyelids peeled off, tongue split in half and tied into a horrible little knotted mess.
Oswald just stares like just like almost like some face of like, you gotta be fucking shitting me. After everything he just said about weird monster shit, want to stick to the job, he sees this shit.
What's your take, cousin?
Magnus looks at you.
Tongue is split, tied into a knot. Eyelids are sheared off. Does it look clean at all?
Everything looks like it was neatly cut. This looks like it was done with precision.
Either a blade or a very sharp claw. Does this sound like? Does this sound familiar to anything I'd seen in the past?
I will tell you without a roll, absolutely not.
What in the world?
Asmo just turns to Miguel and Magnus.
So how much they paying you?
Not
Like
enough.
almost like,
I was gonna say, what the fuck? When did this happen?
This happened last night.
No one heard a goddamn thing?
No, just came in and found it.
Jesus.
This isn't the first one.
Asmo just kind of like and does like a blinking eye gift.
Excuse me?
No, it's the reason we were called up here.
How many of these have even happened?
Apparently one before this.
Oh,
Did that one look the same as this one does now?
About the same. They didn't really keep it in any shape for us to examine, but I will tell you that, yeah, the way they described it, it was about as fucked up as this. And I'd like to introduce you to Bjorn Pilton, former magistrate and former mayoral candidate of this town.
A mayoral candidate.
What's the plot?
Wolfgang flips open to a blank page in his father's book and begins writing down something about this body just in a corner, just like in this shape, with the tongue split and the eyelids peeled off.
Add a character. How big is Cold Reach? Would you say?
It is a significantly larger town. It seems like a decent size. There's probably a couple hundred residents here.
Okay.
It seems to be a trading hub of some sort.
I'm guessing there's routes that gotta go to the northwest and northeast.
Yep, it is shaped in a crossroads fashion. It leads off to the northeast, southwest, northwest, and southwest, which is the way, or southeast, which is the way you came in.
Oh damn! So yeah, it's entirely. Okay, so it's a big crossover town.
Mm-hmm. And each road has a gate at the end of it.
Asmo just turns to Magnus and Magnus and the boy to the boys.
Yeah, Magnus and Miguel.
Magnus and Miguel.
So how long ago was the first one who died?
Apparently about a few days, apparently about a week or two ago.
Was he also you said mayoral candidate? Is there an election or something?
There is an election going on, and he wasn't a candidate. He was the mayor.
The first one was the mayor. Oh,
Second
Jesus.
one was the former magistrate of this town. And he was running for mayor.
There's a possible motive. We might not be dealing with something feral here. We might be dealing with something intelligent. Maybe something even...
Thank you, that's exactly what I thought, says Miguel as he's looking at you.
Well, I wouldn't count it out just yet. This is just my opening thoughts. I'm going to cast Detect Magic.
You notice a brick in the corner of the room that's magic.
One of the heating bricks, I'm guessing.
Seems to be what it is. It seems to be radiating heat. Actually seems to be a couple of them in this room.
Wounds appear to be non-magical, and he's writing all this down as he's saying it.
Yeah.
Asmo's like, okay, so you say the tongue is was split in half, then tied into a wonderful bow tie knot.
No, just a tangled knot, like a ball of yarn that's been messed up horrifically.
Can I roll a arcane check to see if there's anything, if any of this picks up any kind of arcane rituals that the magic may have worn off from the time of the attack to now? And I wanted to try to determine if there's anything like magically going on.
I'll tell you what, roll an investigation with advantage as you're examining the body.
16.
As you're leaning in, you're taking a look at it, and you suddenly get a flash in your brain as you're looking at its tongue, and you see that tangled, knotted mess of roots from the bleeding tree.
Okay. Daenerys going to recoil a little bit, grasp his hand over his eyes. He's going to shake his head for a second.
What's up, Daenerys?
I think the tongue, it reminds me of the visions I've been having.
Magnus and Miguel look at each other. Vision? What visions?
Flurry's book.
No. This goes beyond that shit. What visions?
I've been seeing this entity. I don't know what it is exactly, but imagine for a moment a tree, a white tree.
Bleeding
with gnarled roots.
Wait, you know about the bleeding part?
Fuck.
They kind of look at each other.
Yeah, we've come across stuff like this more than once. It's almost like it's following us.
You came across it in the south too.
Oh yeah.
It's been popping up here and there every now and again. All right. This is the work of a cult. It's worse than we thought. Magnus, go gather them.
Magnus walks out of the room as he gives a nod.
What do you boys know? How much? What have you seen?
Asmo just gestures to Wolfgang to ask your fucking family member.
He's looking at all of you. He's kind of like looking back and forth.
Do you know about the crystals that follow around with sightings of the bleeding god?
We haven't dealt with them much. What are these crystals?
Daenerys, show him.
Daenerys conjures up his mage hand. He walks over, pulling out the bag, opens it up, shows the bag of...
The moment you open it up, these things are pulsing like crazy.
He shows the gems, brushes off the lead dust with it.
That's a definite indicator. Don't touch her with your bare hand, by the way.
Kind of holds his hands back as he was about to reach for it.
All right. What's their story? What do you know?
Some sort of conduits, almost like a connection to the bleeding god itself. Any who touch it with their bare hands, they get some sort of vision. If the crystal is embedded in something, then it gets strange magical properties. We saw a necromancer with one of these small sharded crystals embedded behind his eye.
Mm-hmm.
And then another one, a giant skeleton. Don't really have a name for it. Never really seen
digitation image of it.
Yeah, never really seen anything like it. I've taken to calling it a bone mauler.
That's pretty good. Did maul the shit out of you.
That's true. Yeah, sure did. It's mostly for the sort of the spikes on top of his head reminded me of a maul. But anyway,
Makes sense to me.
Yeah. Anyway, but you dropped a crystal in a vat of cow's milk, and that thing came out. Although it did require what appeared to be a blood sacrifice.
Well, this town might be in more danger than we thought.
Bleeding
At
gods
first, we
and
thought
all
it was just some serial killer, some freak getting its, jollies off, but these. Come on.
He kind of nods out.
Why? Silly question. You said his tongue? You said it was drained of blood. It seemed to be or it wasn't.
There is no
bleeding at all?
blood in. There's no blood on this crime scene, and the body seems to be completely exsanguinated. It is pale.
So, but the tongue was slit, but there's no blood anywhere.
No blood anywhere.
Asmo kind of points that out. I guess I'll do it in character. Asmo just gestures to the mouth.
So this reminds you of your vision? The bleeding god?
It reminds me of the roots. The
Were
root
they
system.
Were they bloody?
Everything on that tree is bloody, especially the roots.
Yeah, but this isn't.
Points at the tongue.
There's
Yeah.
no goddamn blood anywhere here.
Yeah, I noticed that actually.
We're not sure what to make of it yet either.
So,
I've got a theory.
What's your theory?
How many vampires exactly have you seen since you started investigating?
Investigating here, or
Yeah.
in general up north?
Let's go with in general.
In general, we've killed about a dozen covens between Father and us.
Huh.
None of them big or organized enough. Most of them try to hide, and they definitely don't leave displays like this.
Yeah, but with the bleeding god, you never know. Vampires love blood. This thing looks like it's been exsanguinated, this husk of a man.
Well, who knows
Wouldn't be
what would
too shocked.
happen? Who knows what would be happen if a vampire got a hold of one of those conduits of yours?
It's still a working theory, but that's the only thing I can deduce. Either that, or it was drained for some sort of ritual. Which wouldn't have surprised me either.
Both possible. But either way, come on. I'd like to hear more of your theories, and like I said, I owe you an ale. And I feel like there's some people you should meet.
He kind of
Sure.
nods and like kind of holds the door open for you guys.
Asmo is gonna insight him.
Go ahead.
Natural 1.
Boy, this guy sure is smart and charismatic.
yeah,
He
I
sure
could-
does know what he's talking about.
Yeah, I could use a drink. Looks like I'm gonna fucking have to deal with another monster. Goddamn, get this shit solved so I can get back.
Mutters to himself.
Yeah, you guys close the door behind you, the eyes staring at you from the darkness as you do. You head. He starts to lead you back towards the center of town, where the half-melted statue is, and there seems to be a light on in one of the buildings, and some commotion coming from inside.
A commotion?
Yeah, off on the side of the building, you see hanging on a green sign in gold lettering is the Fairview Tavern.
Oh, that sounds very nice and pleasant.
Yeah, you walk inside. There's hushed mutters. Got some people conversing.
What does it look like?
It's a nice area. It seems to be made mostly of stone. There's some animal furs on the ground, some deer heads on the wall. There's a nice big old hearth brick in the middle. There's some people hanging around tables, mostly in hushed tones. Nobody seems to be in a genuinely good spirit. But over in the corner, there's a very handsome black-haired bard performing who's also a full-blooded elf.
Ooh. Black-haired elf. Interesting.
Yeah, and he's got his hair just kind of like let down, going across his back. It's about medium length, probably about the length of your hair, Taka. Medium long.
Oh, okay. What kind of instrument is he playing?
He's not. He's singing.
Oh,
Singing
is it
and
good?
doing a little dance.
Is it good?
Let me do a little performance roll for him. Yes, it is immaculate.
Is he
He's like,
pantomiming like a mother?
Singing in Elven, and people are, all the people around him are actually kind of have a bit of a smile on their face, like he's taking their minds off of this horrific shit going on around them.
Okay. Where are the lads, the boys?
Well, Magnus leads you in, and you see a large group of characters in this bar. There's a matron of the bar, kind of sitting behind the bar, serving up drinks. Very attractive younger woman, looks to be related to the matron, walking around. There's a group of young men sitting off in the corner that are often like looking at her, waving at her. She'll wave back. They'll nudge each other and have a good laugh. A lot of them look like a little too embarrassed to approach her, but she's definitely the one that they are admiring, so to speak, from this town.
How old is she, Nick?
It's like, I don't know, late teens.
Okay, good. Okay.
She's legal in terms of this world.
Okay, good job.
Does that help you?
No, I just want to make sure that those boys are behaving.
Yes, they're behaving, and they're also in their late teens, young 20s. They're all of marrying age in this world.
It's a shame I got past that marrying age myself.
And yeah, basically Magnus is waving at you from one of the tables, and there's a batch of people just kind of lined up around the bar, around the table that he's ushering you over to. It's a longer table. You hear the matron call out to you, "Welcome to the Fairview Tavern. Clara? She'll be right with you." And the attractive young woman kind of waves over at you guys, gives you a smile.
Asma's gonna incite Wolfgang, wondering why he's being so quiet. 5. Okay, that didn't really work.
Yeah, not really. Wolfgang's just kind of wandering through. He looks like he's lost in thought.
Wolfgang is always quiet.
Yeah, I know. I want him to not be so much always, so I know what's going on.
Miguel leads you guys over to the table.
Well, may I introduce you to some of our prime suspects?
Do you really have to call us that?
Yes, I do.
You can't blame them, can you? Says a man with streaked back gray hair.
No, I suppose not.
Says a relatively portly brown-haired man. Has a mustache, wears glasses, and is kind of dressed rather nice.
Oh, pleasure to meet you. My name's Darren Ford. I guess I'm, well, the only mayoral candidate left, so I guess I'm the mayor.
Congratulations. Congratulations.
Yes, congratulations, says a very, gaunt woman sitting down the table.
Won it by a landslide, I hear.
Yeah, or maybe a knife slit, says the woman as she's looking at you drinking some wine.
That's Madeline Harcroft.
My husband was the first victim of this bastard. Looks over at Ford.
I told you it's not me. I want to find out who did it as much as you.
We don't have enough evidence to start pointing fingers at anybody at the moment.
Oh, well, who benefited the most?
Yes, who did benefit the most?
Says the slicked back, gray-haired man as he looks over.
Well, we might not know the people who benefited the most. Maybe you're being sort of reverse framed for this.
The man with the slicked back gray hair holds his hand out to you.
Lyle Van Thorn, magistrate.
Wolfgang Connolly. I clasp his hand. Monster hunter.
Well, now it looks like we got a trio of you.
Appears so.
The nice young woman walks up to you. Clara, as you've heard her name being called out. "Hello, is there anything I can get you guys?" She kind of smiles at you, looks left and right.
We owe this boy 2 ales, so at least bring out 2 for the lot of them,
says Magnus.
A piece, please. Saw some fun stuff today.
You got it. She smiles, gives you a little bit of a wink, and walks away.
Oswald's not used to a human winking at him, but okay.
Well. Well, Magnus, Miguel, what does a lot of you know?
Well, here's what we know. Right now, the most likely suspect is Mr. Ford over here. I understand that, but I promise you it wasn't me. I have alibis.
You do stand the most to gain from this, but you've been very
Oh, I stand the most to gain. What about her? Her husband died and left her quite a pretty penny. She's just drinking her wine. Excuses. Trying to throw me right under the cart, huh? My husband is dead. And his body is barely even a day cold.
Ma'am, I know you're upset. I've lost a spouse before myself, but we need to remain calm if we're going to figure out.
Oh, I don't care that he's dead. I just care that I'm being blamed for it.
Well, all right then.
She keeps sipping her wine.
The town's been a bit of a mess lately. There was well, obviously an election was happening. Town was looking to select its new mayor, and all of a sudden, out of the blue, these bodies stopped falling.
Yeah, and it was about the time that he came to town. She points over across to the singing bard. So why don't you stop asking us and ask the one that's coming through town, the stranger? How do we know we can even trust these guys?
Asmo just kind of gives her a look with his arms crossed.
Ma'am, if you have a question, if you question our character, bring in a cleric. Clerics are known for being able to root out lies and deceit.
It's rude to
Wouldn't
talk
that
about.
be great if my husband wasn't the last one in the town?
Oh, how about that?
Yeah, how about that?
Yeah, it's rude to talk about people when they're in the room with you. Ma'am.
That's fun, because we've been getting that all night. All week, in fact. And now I can't even return to my own home. So, yay.
Did you do the 2 thumbs up when she did that?
She threw her like hand in the air like, yay.
Can I insight the lot of them?
Which one?
Let's go with her first.
Okay. Go ahead and insight her.
19.
Let me roll for her.
Yeah, for her.
Oh no, I'm rolling
Oh.
her. Yeah, she's definitely aggravated by this shit. She's definitely not sad that her husband's dead. You're not entirely sure why, but she's like, she seems to be on the level. She's just really aggravated and really frustrated and kind of tired of all this bullshit, and she seems a little scared.
I'll lean over and I'll whisper into Wolfgang's ear what I believe I've determined.
Yeah, I sort of picked up on that as well, but...
Look, if you have questions, ask them.
All right. Where were you the night of your husband's murder?
I was out
Out.
with a friend.
Who's this
Cool.
friend?
She kind of sips some wine.
But Asmo just sits there chuckling.
She was off cheating on her husband.
Go ahead and roll insight.
7, because God loves me.
She rolls her eyes at you.
Well, regardless of what you were doing, I still need to know who, so I can corroborate your story.
Fine. I was visiting Mr. Van Thorn here.
Mr. Van Thorn, can you confirm it?
Yes, I can. We were just having a evening chatting.
Listen. There's
Asmo just kind of laughs. Like,
There's nothing to be ashamed of at this table. We are trying to save your lives. Every detail helps.
My husband was a womanizing piece of shit. He never gave me any attention, but he wanted us to look like the perfect family. So, he would gallivant around town at night, picking up harlots, and doing God knows what, God knows where, God knows when. So, a girl has to look out for herself sometimes. So I did. But I didn't kill him. But I am glad he's dead.
That. I suppose that's fair. Bloody politicians and bloody gallivanting.
No, that's just people, man.
Right. So you were with Mr. What was your name again? Sorry.
Van Thorn. Lyle Van Thorn.
Mr. Van Thorn, the night of your husband's murder. So you two can corroborate each other's stories.
See, that's where it gets a little complicated. You see, we're not sure when this murder took place exactly. They were out for quite a while, it seems. And yes, it is true, we were not together the whole time.
What was the woman's name again?
Her name is Madeline Harcroft.
Miss Harcroft. Did you know if your husband was having anyone over that day?
I don't. I don't pry into his business. I know he had whispers with the more recently murdered fellow. But they were running against each other, so I always thought it was competitive jargon.
Very odd. Magnus, Miguel, have the houses been searched? The houses of the victims.
We've looked over them. Not a shred of any real evidence outside of the fact that the bodies were there. Not a drop of blood, not a trail leading to or from. You're welcome to look in, well, Miss Harcroft's home has been turned into a crime scene as well.
Suppose a second opinion wouldn't hurt. Might go do that after this.
What about the magistrate? What about the magistrate, though?
Yes, does he have any? Does he have any family to speak of?
Bjorn Pilton, he has family, but for the most part, they have been exonerated as they were pretty, like, they were not home at the time of the murder.
In the tavern, or pretty much, or something like that.
Yeah, they were out at out trying to help rebuild the church that had been, you know, trying to get people to, you know, go to church and pray for the town. So they were with a large town gathering at the time because they had recently lost their preacher, and currently they're in the midst of a bit of a religious crisis. But he was murdered during that event. And right now that family is being housed elsewhere as their home is currently a crime scene.
Hope you don't mind me asking. What's the major religion of this town?
They kind of look back and forth.
Well, we worship the Lady of Death.
Seems to be a bit of a theme.
She's looking down at us at all times. We don't get much daylight out here. Her glow is pretty much the friendliest glow we know.
Quick question. Murders.
He looks over to Miguel and Magnus.
They all happen at night?
Well, there's not much else around here. We only get a couple hours of daylight down this far.
I'm just curious if these happen during daylight or at night.
As far as we're aware, they seem to mostly take place after dark.
Okay.
While they're talking, basically Daenerys is just and as they
You cut out, bro.
am I still cutting out or
No, you're fine now. You
must
just have to
been just a
rephrase what you
one-time thing?
said.
As they're talking, Daenerys just watching. He's silent for now, but he's inciting, folks whenever they're talking.
You got to call that out.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, here on out. I didn't want to interrupt anything.
All right. Is there anybody you want to insight about anything, any specific statement?
I want to insight. Well, I want to insight the soon-to-be mayor on his general, how he's been acting, how he's been talking so far. I got the widow on her, so I want to insight the soon-to-be mayor.
All right. He hasn't been talking much, but go ahead and roll.
Yeah. 22.
He's just been nervously drinking his ale.
Mm-hmm.
He seems nervous.
All right. And looking at him, looking over each one slowly, I'll lean over and I'll whisper what I find into Wolfgang's ear. Basically, that the soon-to-be mayor seems to be incredibly nervous, but that's understandable given the circumstances.
Okay.
And he
Well,
goes back to watching.
as far as I can tell, we've got two people corroborating each other's stories. So you're either innocent or you're both in on it.
They kind of look back and forth at each other. Just
However, all the cases similar to this one that we've seen up until now have only had sole perpetrators. So, for the time being, I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt.
So here's the thing. So the mayor dies. That's what's holding up his hand. Mayor dies. All right. And then one of the other guys running for mayor dies. And by the way, Magnus and Miguel, how much are you being paid for this job?
not enough. Not enough.
Okay, we'd like to be paid more. If we're gonna spend time on this, I want to get paid. You know what I mean?
Darren just kind of sits forward. I assure you, as the well, I guess interim mayor at the very least, I will pay a very healthy price if we can
There
get
you
this
go,
to
cool.
us rest
So
soon.
pretty much based on the last 2 kills, it's gonna go for one of 2 targets now.
Points at the supposed new mayor, and then the temporary mayor.
Oh no, Darren is the temporary mayor
Darren is the temporary
because he's the
mayor?
only candidate left.
Oh, sorry, I thought there were 2 characters. My bad. Sorry.
There are 2 characters at the table. There's the magistrate, the mayor, or three at the table: magistrate, mayor, and the widow.
So,
Points at the Darren.
based on law of averages, you're probably gonna be next.
He's just kind of like he's nervously drinking his ale. His hand has a legitimate shake to it now.
Unless you're the result they wanted. Out of curiosity, how far in between were the murders to each other?
It seemed like about a week or so.
About a week.
We hadn't really been keeping track of time since the first one, but then the second one popped up, and
And how long has it been since the most recent?
well, it's been about a day or 2, I'd say.
All right. Miguel, Magnus.
They nod at you.
I beckon them with my finger to come down, and I whisper to them, I'm gonna need you to keep a very, very close eye on him in the coming
That's
days.
been the idea.
Yeah.
That's why I was on the roof.
That's fair. I mean, even more personal eye on him. I wouldn't let him out of my sight.
I get you.
Because whatever's coming, you haven't been able to see it. Nobody in this town has seen it. Nobody knows what it is, what it's doing, and what it wants.
You got it.
Mr. Van Thorn! The magistrate looks over after sharing glances with Madeline Harcroft. Yeah.
We'd like permission to join a few of you to make sure everything's on the up and up. Just keep a closer eye on Mr. Ford here. What do you say, Darren?
I'd welcome the security, frankly.
Very well. Do as you will. All right. One of us will stay with him at all times.
And to be clear, the only victims have been mayoral candidates so far, correct?
So far as we can tell, yeah.
Precise. Deadly. Clean. And it knows what it wants. But what is that?
Also displayed as a show of force. A message, you could say. Used to know a guy who would do that. He'd intentionally, when he killed a guy, he would make sure that people could see how he died.
Clara comes back with the ales on a tray. There you are. Sets down a bunch of them.
Asmo looks at her. You seem cheerful.
Well, Auntie always says that those that come in here are looking to feel relaxed, and you gotta put on a good face for them, right? She kind of smiles at you.
I'm gonna insight her.
Go ahead.
It's an 11 because I'm bad at insight.
It's okay. She seems pretty genuine. She seems a little shaken on the inside, but she seems to be putting a strong face forward.
Oh.
Thank you, dear.
Thank you very much.
She smiles, waves, and walks off. Waves at the table of boys as she walks by. They chuckle again.
Out of curiosity, you don't really have any cows, do you? Like a big farm full of cows?
No, we... Darren kind of looks back and forth. Well, we get some passing through here. We are a trading post after all, but not so much. Typically, they're from the south going north, and that's if they ever have any excess.
Right, probably not the same purview. You got a graveyard.
Well, a little outside of town, yes.
We'll probably want to check there as well. Miguel, Magnus, the one of you that isn't watching watching the good mayor here, probably want to go check out the graveyard. That's places of death is where it seems to happen the most.
Magnus nods.
Works for us. What about you? Are you joining us in this investigation?
Oh, might as well.
It's
Appreciate
all right
the help, cuz.
Well, if it gets us out of here faster, so we can actually take care of what we're here for, I'll go. And points at Madeline. You said that all this started when the guy with the amazing voice over there showed up in town. I
Yeah,
point
it's
over
about-
at the bar.
She looks over. Yeah, just about then.
Oh, I'll go say hello to him then. Do you give me leave, Monster Hunter?
Osmo says it like a little bit like, great, more of your bullshit.
Talking to me?
Yeah, fucking am, snake. Even though I'm a snake and you're a guy.
Do what you want. Seems it's what you're good at.
Asmo just kind of rolls his eyes a little bit and wanders off to go talk to that guy.
Alright.
Okay, but you can cut to me whenever you want.
Sure thing. Well, if you'll excuse me, I'm going to go retire for the evening.
Have a good night, madam.
I'll join her.
Have
Says
a-
Lyle.
Have a good night, sir. And trust me, I will get to the bottom of this.
Good to have you.
He walks out. And
Denier.
they leave the tavern after paying their tab.
He turns to Denier. Denier,
Yeah.
got any insight on this? And you're the most familiar with the bleeding god out of all of us.
Bleeding God?
Says Mayor Ford as he's like looking back and forth at you
Are
guys.
you still here?
Well, I never left. I'm
Oh.
I'm sorry.
says the portly man as
Why
he
are you
scrunches
still
in his
here?
chair.
sir.
There's no need to be sorry, sir.
He takes out a handkerchief and sort of wipes down his brow. Both of you make a perception check.
And he's making a perspiration check.
Yeah.
Ah.
Nope. 8.
15.
There's a sigil on that handkerchief that, for some reason, it looked familiar to you as he puts it back in his pocket.
At a special brand of kerchief.
Oh, just my family's.
Just kind of wipes his brow down. Sorry, it's a bit of a rough time for me. Just kind of looks around. I just don't know what to make of all this. This is...
Hang
Everybody
on.
thinks it's me.
Can we see it real quick? At least just
What?
the handkerchief.
Why?
Turns to Wolfgang. You said that there was a brand on there, right?
There was a sort of a house symbol, I believe. Looked familiar.
Would you mind if we take a look at it? We might have seen it in the past.
Well, I come from quite a large family, so
That
I
could
wouldn't
possibly
be too
be it.
surprised.
He kind of hands you the handkerchief and you look at the emblem on it.
Can I make an intelligence check?
Go for it.
17.
This is that same emblem that you found on that boy at the wall.
I fucking knew it. Yes. Okay.
Ooh.
Good long look at Wolfgang before he smiles and returns it. Thank you very much, sir.
okay.
He's gonna roll insight on you guys real quick. Never mind. Not even worth rolling against.
No.
He's just like, I don't know what the fuck's going on.
He just kind of takes his handkerchief back, dabs his forehead a bit more, wipes the sweat away, and puts it back in his pocket, adjusts his glasses.
It's nothing to worry about, sir. You know what they say about curiosity and the cat.
I promise you, I'm not a murderer. I'm not gonna kill you.
I was
I've never harmed a hair on nobody.
Sir,
Never said anything like that, sir. It's
You
just
said
the same.
curiosity and cat. It's a idiom.
he's not calling you curiosity, sir.
Oh,
I was
out of
curious, that's
curiosity.
all.
Out of curiosity, you didn't happen to see any sort of pinkish gems around, have you?
like gemstones for trade or what?
Like odd-looking crystals.
Nothing that I'd consider odd. We do trade in magic gems every now and again, but nothing out of the ordinary.
Hmm.
Insight? 20.
He's telling the truth.
Okay. Glance over at Wolfgang and nod.
Okay. Yeah. There's usually only one or a couple around some of the sites.
Osmo, while all this is going on, the bard is finishing up his set. Gets a mild applause from the people around him. Some toss some copper and gold up in, like, he holds out a hat and catches it. Thank you very much. Thank you.
How old is the guy? What would you say his age is?
He's an elf, so it's kind of hard for you to tell, but he looks like he's in his 20s or 30s. By like he looks below middle age, basically.
Okay. He's taller, I'm guessing.
Yeah, he's about 6'2". Steps down off the stage. Whew.
Yo, hey! I hold up. Osmo holds up his hand with 3 gold pieces in between his pointer to his pinky finger.
Well, thank you kindly, sir. Holds out his hat towards you.
Real fast before I drop these in here, can I ask you?
There's a catch, I see.
Oh, there's always a catch, you know.
What can I do for you?
Oh, I'm new in town here, so,
Clearly.
yeah, I got a couple of questions here.
I flick one of the coins in.
Ting! Oh.
All right. So here's the deal. You know that, you heard about the murders, obviously, right?
Yeah, real grim stuff.
Yeah.
Town was real hush-hush. Took him a while to get, into any sort of singing spirit. And it just seems to be getting worse.
Now, why didn't you move on after that happened? Like, I mean, you're pretty good at what you do.
Yeah.
Like, literally, you came in, I walked in there, you were belting that shit, man. That was good.
Please, sir, you'll make me blush. Yes, apparently word of my talent has gotten around. I'm actually making my way north to the capital. I've got an audience with the Archmage himself.
Ooh. I'm new in these parts. Who's the Archmage?
Who's the Archmage? Well, you do look new.
I'm just curious how you would say it.
And Osmo flips another coin in there.
All right, okay. Well, I'm guessing you're not from here, so...
Oh, no,
the Archmage is the leader of this country.
Oh, shoot.
He's the one that keeps things rolling, keeps things going, and makes sure that those of us down here are alive and well.
Ooh. Good, you passed the test. You seem like a up-and-up kind of fellow.
Go ahead and roll deception.
With advantage because I'm brilliant. Okay. That's a 5!
He sees straight through you.
I stick out my tongue like a silly person.
So how can I help you, Mr...
Oh, call me Mr. Black.
Mr. Black?
Mr. Black.
Grinspire. Fezziwig Grinspire. Pleasure to make your acquaintance.
What was that name again, Nick?
Fezziwig Grinspire.
Fuzzywig Grinspire?
Fezziwig. Here,
Fezziwig.
Fezziwig Grinspire.
Ooh, that's a hell of a name, Nick.
All these elves have hell of a names. Have you not noticed that?
I mean, like, damn, Fezziwig is pretty fucking up there.
That's why they were wiped out.
Too many weird names. Kill them all.
I can't say your name. I'm just gonna obliterate your face.
No, the Census Bureau. The Census Bureau couldn't
How do
handle
you
it.
spell that? Fuck!
How many Z's in Fezziwig?
2. He holds up 2 fingers.
Oh, jeez. Okay.
So what can I do for you? What can I do for you, Mr. Black?
The reason why I'm asking you this is actually I've been contracted by the current mayor to get to the bottom of these grisly murders, and I'm just gotta do my due diligence and tracking timelines, and because I want to move on to the capital myself for some of my own investigations, planning on making some good money up there. You know what I mean? Wink.
I mean, it's the goal around here for me. I'm just trying to make enough to fund the rest of my travels north. It gets far harder the farther north you go.
Yeah, can you keep a secret? Can you keep a secret?
I'm pretty good at that.
I haven't seen that stuff falling from the sky ever in my life till yesterday.
What, the snow?
Yeah, snow. Never seen it before.
Yes. It doesn't travel much further south. But
No,
it depends on how far south we're talking, I guess. And
No, I kind of keep to the shadows and stay out of the light as much as possible.
your lot
Question.
does tend to do that.
Insight that.
Go ahead.
Come on. 8 son of a bitch!
He didn't mean anything racist by it, if that's what you're wondering.
Ooh, boy, does it come across racist-ish.
But the thing is, which is really, like, kind of the thing that it really I don't like ever bringing this kind of thing up, but like the first murder happened right when you came into town, and some of them were paranoid, and I'm gonna say people who tend to jump to conclusions seem to think that, oh no, he's got something to do with it. So I just gotta do my due diligence and make sure.
Yes, it was inevitable that I'd be a suspect, I suppose. I've been around long enough here that my presence...
That's what happens when you stand out a bit too much. You become an easy target.
Do you think I'm in danger?
No, not at all. Not unless you're planning on running for mayor in this town.
Far from it.
But no, but like the fight of the first murder, you remember what were you doing when that happened?
Well, I was arriving in town. I was getting my bags unpacked here and asking Sandra, the kind matron of this establishment, if I could use her area as a performance center, and she agreed, and I could I would give part of the share to her, and basically her patrons would have a good time. I'd make some money, and I'd be able to fund my journey north, hopefully by carriage, because it gets dreadfully cold out there.
Oh, absolutely. Does you got a lot of carry?
I have enough to carry.
I mean, guy like you pretty much would have to pack really light.
Typically. I have some belongings, but they travel pretty easy. Easier by carriage, of course.
Ain't that the truth? I actually was riding from one place to a slightly bigger city. And I thought I was gonna have to walk, and then I found out, no, you're taking the carriage.
Isn't it wonderful?
Oh, absolutely. And honestly, no, it reminded me a lot when I was a kid, because, I had a family member die, and the casket had to be transported, and we weren't exactly rich, so a bunch of people put their money together, and we rented a wagon.
My condolences. I know that pain.
Did something recently happen?
Not recent. I've lost many wives, but...
Oh, jeez, that's bad luck.
Well, when you've lived as many centuries as I have, and there aren't a lot of your kind around, you tend to find comfort where you can, and unfortunately, most mortals tend to live such tragically short lives. You move on, though. It is hard for a bit.
So you swung by Sandra, and you spent the whole night with her.
Insight that, by the way, too. Actually,
Go
I'm
ahead.
sorry. 13, getting a bit better. I heard the phrase mortals.
He appears to be telling the truth on that one.
Sorry, real quick question. High elves aren't immortal, are they?
No, they aren't. But he referred to himself as immortal as well as you. But you guys are lesser mortals that tend to live significantly less amounts of time.
Yeah.
Seems to be the implication that he was putting out there.
Osmo tosses the third coin in there and grabs one more.
Quick question. I'm just so freaking curious because I've never really met a high elf before. You'll have to forgive me.
Oh, please don't call me a high elf.
No, well, I don't want to be rude. I don't want to assume one way or the other, but immortal, that's crazy. You guys, I know you guys live for like fucking ever, but I mean...
1,000 years or so.
That's good. How far along are you in your era?
I'm heading into about 2.5 centuries, I'd say. You stop counting after a while, you know?
I could only assume, yeah. That's good. So, just ask before I leave you to your own devices here. The night you got into town, what were you doing the other night? Were you just performing here?
Yeah, same as I do every evening. Then I retire to my room for a while, rest, count my money, and see how much more I have left to go until I can afford that charter.
How much does that run you by?
Well, I'd say with this amount that you've floated me, I'm getting close to that goal. Thank you again.
No worries. Thank you so much for answering all of my questions.
Absolutely. Mr. Black, was it?
Yeah. Thank you for chatting with me.
Absolutely. Hope to see you again tomorrow night, although if you are in town in investigating this atrocity. If that's the only thing keeping you here, then
Well,
I dare say I hope I don't see you tomorrow.
That's fair. It's actually multiple atrocities, though. 2 people have died, not 1.
Yes, I'm sorry.
Inside him.
Go ahead.
13. Son of a bitch.
He seems to have genuinely forgotten, kind of like looked down as he is still kind of in the afterglow of his performance.
Asmo gets up, just adjusts himself, and like,
Have a good night there. Fizzywig.
You as well, Mr. Black.
and I wonder.
He kind of nods to you and smiles as he starts scraping up any coins that did not make it into his hat off the floor.
All right, and I wander back to the boys.
As you wander back to the table, you see Clara just kind of flirting with the table of boys, and the woman behind the bar, who you now know is named Sandra. Clara, leave them lot alone! Oh, we promise we'll be good. Oh, you lot never good. She says, sorry, boys, and just kind of walks away. Smiles at you as she walks past as you get back to the table.
At Asmo?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Just, he's always perturbed by that. So I'm guessing, is it Wolfgang and Daenerys sitting down at the table?
Yeah. Darren Fjord would have left a little bit ago. Miguel went with him.
Sorry, what was that, Nick?
I said Darren Fjord, the interim mayor, left a little while ago, and Miguel would have left with him to keep his eye on him.
Okay. Asmo sits down and kind of relays the information he had with when he was chatting with Fizzywig.
Fezziwig Grinspire.
Fizzywig Grinspire.
I love my whimsical elf names.
That is a fucking elf name. I'm Fizzywig Grinspire. Ah.
Bard of Law.
It's better than Balthalel. Flallalal.
Yeah.
Folala and folala.
Well, anyway.
Fucking elves. Fucking elves. So pretty much.
So yeah, I think I'll just go and go talk to Sandra because he says that he swung by, and the first night he just hung out here. Just want to make sure that he was here those nights.
Yeah. When he says Sandra, he motions toward the woman behind the bar.
Yeah.
Bloody bards.
All right, Asmo.
Ha! Oh, that's good. That's good, Connor. Ha ha!
Asmo, you know that piece of cloth that you carry that you've been trying desperately to find out more information about it?
I don't know. It just seemed like it was important.
Asmo pulls it out of his pocket.
We found another connection of it.
What? He says? Like what the what? Who?
Yeah. Wolfgang noticed it.
Okay, go on.
Like Asmo's like gesturing him on. Come on.
So apparently, the soon-to-be mayor has it on a handkerchief that he keeps on his person. Apparently, it's the symbol of his family.
Symbol of his family. What's his last name?
Fjord.
Fjord.
And I also relay to Asmo everything that I gathered through my insight checks.
Cool. People suck. Okay.
You said it was that kid at the wall who had the same symbol.
Yep. From the bar, you hear the woman call out, "Last call! Last call!" Some of the boys kind of groan.
What do you think, boys? Are we getting to work tonight, or are we having a rest first?
If you want, I can put you guys up in a room here.
Well, very much appreciated, cousin.
Kind of nods. He heads over to the bar to talk to Sandra.
I don't know. I mean, we're supposed to head out of here, but it looks like you want to take care of this, right, Wolfgang?
Well,
Money.
it is sort of connected to what we're doing as well. I mean, we were sent up here.
Yeah, we were. I just didn't think we'd have so many stops along the way. So.
Sure are eager.
What?
Sure, eager to get this done.
I mean, sooner you get paid, sooner you can take care of your own business. You know what I mean?
What business?
Personal business.
Maslow just kind of takes a sip from his drink that he was ignoring earlier, and tries to pretty much just like, he's clearly trying to change the subject.
Daenerys going to finish off his drink. I think, I don't know, we might want to have a look around town, see if there's anything suspicious, but I don't know if anything's going to show up or anything's going to specifically happen tonight, but it's good to get a lay about the town.
That's true. Also, which one of my cousins would go?
Miguel is with Mr. Fjord.
Okay, so that. Well, me and Magnus were probably planning on checking out the graveyard just outside of the town. After all, that last place we were, you guys know what happened. Also, places of death is where these seem to crop up the most. Figured that'd be good to give a once over.
That makes sense.
I would recommend, I don't know if it's going to be comfortable, but at the very least, I would recommend that we all take one room. That way we can set up defenses in case something comes after us, since we're now investigating the case.
Well, good news, because you got one. Magnus slaps down a key on the table.
Perfect.
Perfect.
Cousin, you wanted to go look at that graveyard out there. Nobody reported any disturbances, but couldn't be hurt to check.
Oh, no one did it at the other town, too, and lo and behold, there were 8 cows being milked by a bunch of skeletons.
Asmo just sits there sipping his drink, staring forward.
Yeah, it was a weird one.
It was
Really wish I was there to see it, I'll be honest.
Be glad you weren't there to smell it.
Fair enough.
Kind of smiles.
Well, did you want to go take a look at that tonight, cousin?
I've still got energy left if you do.
Yeah, I'm good to go. Heck, on the way there, I can tell you the story of the last town that we were in.
Oh boy. Well, Magnus can probably handle it.
Yeah, you're forewarned. It's going to be very, very dynamic.
Yeah, just don't go doing the whole presentation around the townsfolk. You remember what happened last time.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, speaking of the townsfolk, you start to see some of them start to finish up their drinks, setting their stuff aside. The boys give another wave at Clara as they walk out. Things start to wind down for the night, and Daenerys, Wolfgang, and Magnus are heading out to the graveyard to check things out and investigate there. Osmo, did you intend to go with them?
They didn't ask him. So,
It's honestly, it's up to anybody where they want to go.
would you? Okay, is it okay to split the party right now?
I don't care. I never mind if you split the party. It just makes things a little awkward.
Well, Asmo was actually going to talk to Sandra,
Yeah, that's fine.
hotel, just to corroborate the other guy's story.
Yeah, so you guys begin to head out, and you say your farewells to Asmo as you begin to head out of town and down the road towards Magnus kind of points off that way, and the door closes behind you. Tavern begins to empty out more and more, and you just kind of sit at the bar, Asmo. Ain't serving no more, Sandra says as she's wiping down a mug.
Yeah, no, it's okay. Just actually got a quick question. I got a couple of questions for you real fast here.
Sure thing, sweetie. What you looking for?
My traveling partner's actually, he's in close with those 2 bigger boys, and they're here.
Yeah, there is quite a resemblance. There is quite a resemblance in those Connolly lads, isn't there?
That's fair enough. Did they say they were the Connollys to you?
Well, they're the ones we hired. I'd hope they are.
Fair enough. You know that bard, Fizzywig? Fizzywig?
Yeah, he's a sweetheart.
Yeah, like, he's really good, you know? Apparently he's saving up to go to the main city.
Yeah, apparently he's been summoned up there. One of the reasons he stopped in was to just make a little bit of money so he could get a charter up.
Oh, shit, he was summoned by who?
The Archmage.
Oh,
Apparently.
shoot. I thought
Apparently
he
his
was
skills are known far and wide. Well,
I thought he was bullshitting me. Damn.
he could be bullshitting both of us, frankly, sweetheart. But
It's the beauty of
I'm
access,
not.
right?
I'm not paid enough to care.
Oh, it's a shame you're not paid enough to care.
I'm paid to serve drinks and leave people happy.
That is fair, and you do it so well so far, from what I can tell.
Oh, hush. She kinda
When he
smiles as
first
she's
came to
cleaning some
town, you
stuff
must
up.
have been. When he first came up to town, you must have been just like swept off your feet immediately. There's this fucking beautiful high elf, like black hair, all the things. Did he just hang? Did you just spend the whole night chatting with him?
Sweetheart, if you're asking, I don't know if he swings that way, but
Nah, no. Appreciate it, but no. I like women.
Nods. Very.
she just kind of smiles at you. Okay, then.
There is no deception check needed for that, by the way.
Persuasion, how? No, she doesn't care.
Eh. When he got here, did you spend the whole night chatting with him? Was he working all night? What was the deal with him?
Well, like I usually do, I'm just serving drinks. He came in little after dusk, asking for a place to stay. We offered it up to him. And we came to an agreement on payment. He'd perform here, and he'd give us about 20% of what he makes during the evening.
It's a good
And
rate,
he'd
good
get
rate.
a good place to sleep at night.
Not bad.
Our customers are happy. He's happy. I'm happy. Everybody's happy.
Did he work that first night when he got here?
Yes, actually. Now that I recall,
How late
came
did
in.
wo-
He put his stuff away, and he came down. Performed a small number. Not many people really expected it, but those that showed up were sure happy. And he's gotten a bigger crowd every night since.
That's good. He's pretty damn good. How long did he go till?
I can't really remember, Shug. I was serving up the ale all night.
Okay. Well,
Incite her on that, by the way.
Go ahead.
Natural 1.
Bars must get real busy.
yeah.
Like it didn't look that busy tonight, but you were clearly here near the ending hours.
The other night, the magistrate was killed.
Terrible tragedy.
Yeah. Everyone was distracted by the. I heard it happened in the middle of the night as well.
I mean, most things happen in the middle of the night here.
Ain't that the truth? I kind of like it, actually. Not a fan of the cold, but my kind likes the dark a little bit.
I believe you.
The night he was killed, business must have been a little bit slower. How'd he perform that night?
Seem to be doing just fine, really.
He was here all
Didn't
night.
notice much of a change in it until the commotion erupted, and unfortunately that had to cut everything short.
Where does he go? Does he perform it all during the day, or is that when he's sleeping?
Well, the sun's up so painfully short, you try to be up during it, but, you know, he'll perform probably 2-3 times a day.
Okay.
He'll get up when he gets up, he'll perform, and then he'll spend some time just off on his own. I don't really
Okay,
keep
yeah.
tabs on everybody. I've got a tavern to run.
Yeah, that lady Madeline.
Her.
There's one.
Bit of a shrew, that one.
Isn't that the truth? She gave me a foul look. Me.
And you see Asmo smile with his again, his golden fang on his right side.
Clara's actually walking by. Of all people, she smiles and keeps walking by. She's carrying just a bucket of water with some mugs in it.
Of all people. Oh, her? What's wrong? You don't like her either?
No, I was saying like you, of all people. Sneering
Me?
at you.
Oh.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to walk in the middle of a conversation.
What do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean, you people?
She just kind of walks up to you, looks you in the eyes. You have very pretty skin.
Oh, talking about my scales. My
Is that what they are? She kind of like looks kind of closer at him. Well,
Yes,
Clara,
indeed.
you got to keep cleaning up. We'll never be able to close down for the night. Sorry. Nice to meet you. She kind of waves and keeps going goes to the back room and start hearing clinking of dishes and stuff.
Asmon's gonna insight that interaction.
Okay.
Fucking 5! God damn it!
She seems genuinely fascinated by she looks like she's never seen somebody like you, but she's not afraid of you. It's refreshing. She actually seems genuinely appeased by how you look.
Oh, jeez.
She's a real she's a real friendly girl.
I could tell. She was really, those boys were really hassling her a fair amount.
Yeah, you gotta chase them out of here with a stick sometimes.
How big is the stick?
Big as it needs to be. She kind of smiles.
Forgive me, I just have to ask these questions because that Madeline lady implicated our boy Fezziwig. Because, the murder started right when he came into town.
Yeah. She kind of cricks her head to the side. It is a little convenient, that timing, but I'm not sure when those murders happened. All I know is that second one happened, well, at least the discovery of it happened while he was performing, so...
Well, discovery happened.
Well, that's when everybody came in, shrieking, hollering, bloody murder.
Shit. How long was he performing before everyone ran in?
Can't really remember if I were to try to recall. I'm sorry.
Can you try? I just want to,
Sure, I'm going to give her a quick intelligence check.
No offense, just want to kind of get through this investigation as soon as possible.
Sorry, guys. I don't mean to be taking up so much time.
No, don't worry about it. This is important information. She tries to recall. Maybe it was about hour, maybe 2 hours. Hard to say with the kind of busy work she does, though.
Okay.
She's starting to wipe down the counter.
Don't mind
Anything
me.
else I can help you with?
Your daughter's really friendly.
She kind of stops moving for a second. She's actually my niece.
Oh, sorry. I mean, don't forgive me for assuming one way or the other.
Oh no, don't worry about it. She just came in to help me out since my husband left.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
It's all right.
When'd you start working with you?
About a moon back or so. About a month ago, basically.
Oh. How about that?
Yeah, she came in from out of town. We wrote a while back, but after everything that happened, she decided to come in and just keep me company and help me run things. She's been a real help around here.
That's good to hear. Don't mind me prying. How did your husband pass?
Who said he passed? Worthless.
Piece of garbage.
Yeah.
Well, that hardship's worth
A tip. And Basil pulls out a single gold piece and flicks it in.
Well, thank you very much.
No worries.
You got a room here for the night, I take it? She says, like, kind of looking down at the key that's on the... I guess you would have taken it since you're staying
Oh,
here.
yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, I do. But, we'll be dig into this so we can move on.
Well, we got the most comfortable beds in all of town, so I hope you have a good night's rest, sir.
Thank God. Anyways, good night there.
Her name was Sandra, right?
Sandra Fairview.
I'm gonna write that down real fast here.
I don't believe I caught your name, sir.
You can call me Mr. Black.
It fits, she says, looking you up and down. She gives you a bit of a smile.
Oh, thank you very much, ma'am.
Asmo finishes off his drink and starts wandering up. But before he wanders upstairs, he quickly says to Clara,
Hey, Clara.
You hear the sound of clinking and dishes stop. Yeah? You see her face kind of peek around the corner.
I don't know how you do it, but you managed to handle all those guys harassing you, so good on you.
Oh, they're just here for a little fun. They're fine. Ultimately harmless.
That's good. Not everything in this town is. Keep your wits about you. Just because someone's not a mayor doesn't mean they're not a target.
She kind of looks down and up. Thank you. She smiles.
all right, then that'll end Asmo's scene.
Yeah, during that whole interaction, as Osmo's now heading to bed, you guys have wandered out the northeast gate and are within eye shot of the graveyard.
So, what should we be looking out here, cousin, if you've dealt with these cults before?
Well, if I'm just going off my last encounter, I'd say be looking for cow tracks, but since we're not, see if there's any traces of magic around here, any sort of
I'll check the bag, see if it's pulsing any differently than normal
yeah,
with
good,
Mage Hand.
good thinking.
You look at, they're pulsing at a pretty average rate. Seem to be getting weaker as you're heading out of town, though.
Shake his head. It's in town.
What's in town?
If there's another of these gems, it's in town.
Well, they did react pretty violently to the No.
What? What do you...
What did you do with the bodies?
What do you mean, what did we do with the bodies?
Are they in town still, or?
Well, we haven't touched the one that we left, but the other one the townsfolk decided to bury.
Around the graveyard, right?
Yeah, I mean, I can show you his grave if you'd like.
Do that.
He leads you into the graveyard, and you spend a little bit of time looking. Go ahead and roll a investigation check just to try to find the right grave, because he was here after they buried him.
Denier, get the crystal out. Wave it towards the grave. Investigation check. 18.
Denier will do the same. Do you want me to roll investigation as well, or?
No, that 18 will get you.
Okay.
You spend a little bit of time looking around, but you find the freshest grave, and sure enough, right at the top of it reads the name Ferris Harcroft, Mayor, and Vindicator.
Any reaction from the gem whenever it's
Doesn't seem to be reacting to this grave.
Okay. Put it back in the bag with Mage Hand.
Was the ground consecrated?
Well, you got your last holy man buried there, so I'd imagine, if anything.
Suppose not. Wonder if that had anything to do with it. Wonder if the fact that he was a holy man had something to do with the fact why the crystal's not resonating with his corpse. It sure as hell was resonating with the other one.
Hard to say. Like I said, we haven't dealt with a lot of this. If anything, you're the expert here.
I think it was resonating because we were getting closer to another gem. The closer we get to it, the more it seems to react.
That's what I was afraid of.
So you think that...
I think the body might have a crystal in it.
You think the body down there?
We have to look.
I don't think it's here. It's been getting weaker as we've been leaving the town. If anything, there's a crystal in the town itself.
Magnus, will you be all right on your own?
I'm a Connolly. Of course I'll be fine.
Good answer. I'm gonna need you to dig up this body. Take a look. If you've got anything that can detect magic. I don't want to.
You got it.
I don't want to. I don't want you to have to cut open the body, but just take a look.
Sure, we get one exhumed corpse for you there, cuz. Kind of shrugs his shoulders, puts down a bag, and he pulls he starts to pull a shovel out of the bag, like length by length. Ain't the first time, right? Slings it back over his shoulder.
Suppose not. The most common place they like to hide them is behind the eye.
Behind the eye. All right. Well, start digging.
I'd say if you have a way to detect magic, as long as you can get within 3 feet of it, more than 3 feet of dirt should block out any kind of magical detection. But if you can get within 3 feet of it through dirt, you should be okay.
All right, I'll do my best. You boys gonna go look for it in town?
We're gonna go check the other body. I'm gonna have to desecrate another corpse.
The life. Kind of keep shoveling the dirt in the ground. Oh, God.
Further
north you go, the harder it is to dig the damn grave.
Ain't that the bloody truth? Denier, come on. We gotta go hurry. We left that body unattended.
You guys start heading back into town. Takes you a few minutes to get there. Probably about 5 to 10 by the time you're back towards the town center.
Alright, we're going back to the spot where we saw the first body we were shown.
And as you are approaching that door, you hear a blood-curdling scream from one of the buildings down the street.
Do I hear it in the hotel?
No.
Okay.
From one of the buildings down the street?
Yes, down past town center. Like you're kind of at the corner, and it seems to be coming from the the northwest side.
We're right outside the door where we found this guy, right?
Yeah, you're basically approaching it.
I kick open the door real quick and I look inside.
The 2 dead eyes are still staring at you.
Okay.
But a few lights around are starting to turn on as the screaming commences.
Denier, come on.
All right. I follow him.
All right, you run to the building that you're hearing this scream coming from. Some people, you see more lights starting to turn on, and you get to the door.
I try to bust it down.
All right, give me an athletics roll.
3.
It's locked. Ow!
Ow!
All right. Asmo's not here. Stand back. And I spin my staff. I reach out. I touch my staff to the door, and a resounding knocking sound comes from it as I cast knock on the door.
That just unlocks the door, yeah?
It unlocks the door.
So yeah, you hear the click, and the lock just pops.
All right, I shoulder check the door again, and I bust it open.
Yeah, you slam through that door. You hear the screaming coming from upstairs.
Are the lights on in this place?
No.
Light cantrip.
All right, you light up the room. Nothing seems out of place here. At the bottom of these stairs, you're kind of peering in here. It looks very similar to that other house in construction. There's a stairway kind of in the back of the room that leads up to a second story. And there's furniture here. Nothing seems to be shifted or moved. There doesn't seem to have been a struggle down here.
All right, there's stairs going up, right?
Yes, and that's where you hear the whimpering coming from now.
Yeah, I'm running up there immediately.
All right, at the top of the stairs, you find another body, contorted and broken, tongue cut in half, but not tied in a knot. There's a couple of drops of blood on the floor. This looks like it was interrupted when the woman in the corner... Well, apparently, this is how it looks to you. This was not finished, but the woman in the corner, Miss Madeline Harcroft, is sitting whimpering, staring at the body. of Lyle Van Thorn. And that is where we will end for the evening.
Oh.